You do more good than you. The David Patrick The David Patrick Show. It's my favorite show. You do more good than you know. You do more good than you know. The David Patrick Show. It's my favorite show. The David Patrick Show. David Patrick Show. The David Patrick Show. David Patrick Show. The David Patrick Show. The David Patrick Show. The David Patrick Show. The David Patrick Show.
All right, welcome everybody. We are live and it is a big, big day. Hopefully a day where we actually know the results today before the end of the night, which would be very different than what took place last Monday. Welcome. It is the day of the New Hampshire Democratic and Republican primaries. Really nothing to talk about when it comes to the Republican primary. Donald Trump is going to win. We do have some very early results that are essentially meaningless so far, although I actually do think there is something important here. There was, I think it's like one or two towns that vote at midnight. There's all these traditions with a lot of this stuff. Anyway, Amy Klobuchar has 8 votes. Now, this is not delegates or anything. This is literally 8 people voted for Amy Klobuchar, 4 for Bernie, 4 for Warren. These are numbers from last night. Most just updated about a half hour ago, and we are waiting now on the first results. CNN, I am told, is starting to report some stuff, so we will get over there momentarily. But we are going to hopefully. So there's 2 ways this would go. Last primary, at 8 p.m. Eastern time, it was called for Bernie Sanders, if I recall correctly, because it was so overwhelming. If we look at the 2016 results, Bernie won 60% to Hillary Clinton's 37%. Shockingly, a lot of people don't know this, but Star Locke did get 33 votes in the 2016 New Hampshire Democratic primary, but Bernie Sanders winning by so much. Now, one of the things you have to remember is they are going to say, look at how much of a decrease Bernie Sanders got in terms of the share of the vote. And of course, you have 5 people polling over 10% right now, so that is to be expected. That's not a particularly relevant change or anything like that. So we are going to be here. I don't know how long. If we do get final results at 8 p.m., I will still be here. We will then start doing delegate totals. We will look at exit polls. We will look at upcoming primaries. We may open up the phone lines. We may do all sorts of different things. In the meantime, as we await results at the top of the hour, I will answer questions via Super Chat on YouTube, as well as via subscription messages, Twitch Prime and regular subscriptions over on Twitch. Welcome if you're watching on YouTube. Welcome if you're watching on Twitch. And then, of course, welcome if you are watching on Facebook as well. Quick note, as Alluring Lord says with their Twitch Prime subscription, good job on the Raj Royale. Did you have fun? Actually, hold on, let me look at, are our subscription images working? They are. Okay, very good. Yes, I was on a program called the Raj Royale over the weekend, and incredibly, I actually won. And I defeated a gentleman who goes by the name Airsoft Fatty. And Airsoft Fatty is not a gentleman I was familiar with prior to defeating him in the final of the Raj Royale over the weekend. But I have to tell you, I've been watching some of this gentleman Airsoft Fatty's YouTube content. He is one of the greatest entertainers of our time, one of the greatest contemporary entertainers. I highly encourage people to check out Airsoft Fatty's channel. This is the name this gentleman has chosen for himself. It's not my name. And maybe later we will play the final moments. Let's just listen to a few seconds now.
Airsoft, it's almost comical at this point. Question that I have.
No, you just came through clear now.
Are you clear? Okay. What sort of things do you find a problem with people being sensitive about?
Okay, it's just fucking did the cutout thing. You know.
So as you can see, everything going wrong during the grand finale. And in any case, we will get to that maybe a little bit later. But truly, one of the greatest contemporary entertainers of our time, I dare say, Airsoft Fatty. Definitely make sure to check out the YouTube channel. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Super chats are starting to trickle in. The first one from Tuba, who says simply, burn, baby, burn. Bernie Sanders, of course, expected to do quite well tonight. Let's take a look, if we can, at the polling going in, which I actually now don't have handy, but I will get just momentarily for you. We already looked at the 2016 results. Let's take a look at the New Hampshire numbers going in. As you can see, looking at New Hampshire, Bernie Sanders, the blue line, with a big surge over the last, 2 to 3 weeks or so. You see Pete Buttigieg peaking a few days ago and then losing a bit. And then I believe the surprise this evening, I believe the person who will do the most above and beyond where they are polling is Amy Klobuchar at rising to 11.7% today. I believe Klobuchar will overperform today. I believe Biden may well end up underperforming. And that's my prediction. I would love to see in the chat what people think might be the most surprising result. But I do believe, a lot of things happening here. I do believe that Amy is going to perform disproportionately well. I don't know that it will be shocking, but I think it will be a disproportionately good performance. Let me say thank you to Sir Know Thyself for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Also, Perturabo08, who says, thank you for your good work, David. Make America great again without Trump and with Bernie. Greetings from Berlin. There is a hype train going on Twitch. Let's see what we can do with that. Let's answer some super chats over on Twitch. AC0510, great to see you, AC. Quick question. So how much would it cost for you to live with Wes? I heard he's good content. Yeah, so that's very, very inside baseball. So we'll talk about that maybe if we open up the phone lines. Per Tiren, welcome Per from Sweden. Oh man, another long night. Well, it doesn't matter. A winter in Sweden is always dark, but Bernie shines bright. Thank you, Per. Appreciate that. Ricky Williams also chiming in with a beautifully timed super chat. Ricky says, how many coffee cans would Klobuchar's grandpa need to save enough spare change for college today? You would need more than just a few coffee cans. Yeah, that wouldn't even do it. Ross Eckbold says, how can I tell who is a Russian troll on Twitter? Good question. I don't look at replies anymore. And that's the best way. I couldn't tell. So I got right off of there. Dustin DPS says, if Klobuchar was Buttigieg, she'd already declared victory with her dozens of votes. Yes, indeed. We have new numbers, ladies and gentlemen. Bernie Sanders taking an early lead, jumping to 38.2%. 38.2%. Amy Klobuchar now. Remember, I said just 5 minutes ago that Amy Klobuchar will be the surprise of the night. I believe she will most drastically overperform the polling. Amy Klobuchar now in second place, ahead of former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg's 20.5%. This is with, geez, look at all these candidates. What percentage is this? This is with 5 of 301 precincts reporting. This is about roughly 1.5% of precincts reporting. Bernie Sanders out to an early lead, ahead of Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, Elizabeth Warren, Biden in fifth. And if Biden finishes fifth, Biden has left the state, by the way. I don't know if people know that, but Biden left and he's leaving his sister to do the speech at his New Hampshire headquarters. We see Tom Steyer and Tulsi, Andrew Yang, even Deval Patrick getting 9 votes today. And now Pete Buttigieg surpassing Amy Klobuchar. That could be a fight, but Bernie Sanders still in the lead. Remember, Bernie Sanders winning easily, almost by a 2-to-1 margin over Hillary back in 2016. So we have numbers and things are getting going. Let me say thanks to Darbican for the Twitch Prime sub, Spice Goat for the Twitch subscription. Very much appreciate that. Over on, I do want to mention, so we have a great coupon code today. The coupon code for this evening is 2020 now. Why? Because it's 2020 now. No secrets about the coupon code. Our target is 50 website members. Why 50? One for each of the 50 United States. The United States, I guess we would say. Everybody who signs up at joinpacman.com will start to fill up this blue bar. When the bar gets to the top, as Andrew Yang picks up a few votes, when the bar gets to the top, of course, everybody gets thanked. But crazy things happen when the bar fills completely, untold and ungodly things. We are starting to see numbers come in, and so far we are seeing the biggest split between Bernie and Pete of the evening at about 12 points. Pete and Amy Klobuchar about 3 points apart, and then 6 points separating Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren. Remember, my prediction was that Amy Klobuchar would be the biggest overperformer of the day. As you can see here, Amy Klobuchar coming in at 11.7%, and at least as of right now with 17.5, overperforming the polls by about 6 percentage points. Let me say thank you to Zach Miller. Why Zach? Well, because he has just signed up at joinpacman.com and is new member number 1 out of 50 this evening. Really appreciate it, Zach. I really do. Let's see what is happening over in Super Chats. Austin Clark says, Bernie's #1 donor career is teacher. I am one. As much as I love the promised wage increases, the systemic change he brings is desperately needed. Ryan Nowicki says, your thoughts on DNC superdelegates rule change. So Ryan, if the DNC has ruled to put the superdelegates back in on round 1, I've not heard about it yet. So if someone can let me know if that happened, I would appreciate that. As far as I know, the DNC is considering giving superdelegates the right to vote in the first round at the DNC, which would, of course, be a way to deny Bernie the nomination. But if they've actually changed the rule, I've not heard of that yet. So let me know if that's the case. Charlie says, God bless the United States. Yes, much the powerful words, FDR saying we have nothing to fear but fear itself. John F. Kennedy said, we do things not because they are easy, but because they are hard. And a great philosopher, Donald Trump, of course, known for God bless the United States and wanting to know the oranges of the investigation. Thank you very much. Ethan Hendricks. Hey, David, I want to thank you for your comments on Bolivia. My girlfriend is Bolivian, and she was saying the same things you were, but feel the burn. Oh boy, Ethan, you might get me canceled by bringing up Bolivia again. I don't want that. Zachary Monroe, welcome back, Zach, says it's going to be disastrous if Trump Jr. tries for office in 2046. As a political science major, I need to beat him to office. Thanks for the show, DP. D. Smitty says, David, would you do a charity boxing match with Ben Shapiro purely in good sport for a charity of the winner's choosing? I would do it with a 30-ounce glove. That would be my precondition for boxing Ben Shapiro. If you were just joining us, we have so far, let's actually look at the delegate totals. I had the delegate totals somewhere here. Here we go. Going into this evening, Pete Buttigieg with 13 delegates. Of course, the number needed to secure the nomination is 1990. Bernie Sanders with 12, Warren 8, Biden 6, and Amy Klobuchar 1. I believe that we may well see a reorganization of those numbers after today's primary. We currently have Bernie Sanders in first place with a, as of now, significant lead over Pete Buttigieg of 12 points, with Amy Klobuchar in third, Elizabeth Warren in fourth, and Biden in a distant fifth. If you combine the progressives, Bernie and Warren, currently they have 43.5% of the vote, nearly half the vote going to the progressive candidates today. Very interesting data to follow and to track. And we will, of course, be doing it. Sheev Palpatine, and I want to hear from you. I will go over to Twitch messages momentarily, but I will continue reading a few more super chats. Sheev Palpatine says, I am the Senate Palpatine 2020. Very good. I don't understand that, but I appreciate the support. I also appreciate the super chat from Europe, from Katia Anna Calabro, and Clockwork Pineapple says Bernie Sanders' son was a Russian burlesque dancer. If that's true, I am not aware of it. Let me say thanks over on Twitch to DJ Gibster, who says, will you be my Valentine, David? Sure, why not? Space Panda says, keep up the good work, David, along with a subscription. A Wild Man Appears has subscribed with Prime, and Sand Munster has subscribed with Prime. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I also want to say thanks to, let me see if I can pronounce this last name correctly, Jan Schwertfeger, who is website member number 2 of the evening. We've got a coupon code. It saves you 66%, and it is 2020 now. The info is there. All of these memberships are at joinpacman.com. We have just boosted the power of the David Pakman Show website because so many people tried to sign up last live stream that the website crashed, and then I started crying live on stream. So hopefully it will be able to handle another 48 people signing up, which is, of course, the goal today. We continue to see the votes roll in. As of 2 minutes ago, Bernie Sanders still holding a lead in tonight's New Hampshire primary. And a slight adjustment there, which has pulled Pete Buttigieg about a point closer to Bernie. Bernie's lead now only 8.7 over Pete. Amy Klobuchar drastically. I am going to restate my prediction here, just so everybody remembers. I believe that relative to the polling, we are going to see Amy overperform the polls by the largest amount. So, for example, Bernie was polling. Can I zoom? Can we get a zoom on this, please? There we go. Bernie was polling 28.7 going in, and as of right now is at 30.4, meaning he's polling about 1.7 ahead. He's actually, the results have him 1.7 ahead of where he polled. Pete Buttigieg was at 21.3 and is right now at 21.7. Amy Klobuchar polled 11.7 and currently is at 18.5, which has her 6.8 ahead of where she polled. I believe Klobuchar will be the biggest overperformer of the day. JHWH Gadol says via Super Chat, is American exceptionalism holding the U.S. back? I'd have to think about that. I'm not prepared to deliver an answer there. Aniket Patil says, do you think Bloomberg will end up like Biden, where his polling is very high, but he ends up getting fewer votes than expected, given the fact he just bought his way in? I believe that Bloomberg may end up third or fourth in delegates by the time it's all said and done. I was looking today. If you look at Bloomberg in Florida and Texas already has enough support to be both viable over 15% and to pick up a bunch of delegates. I think Bloomberg is going to do much better than a lot of people are predicting, and I've been saying it for weeks at this point. Let me welcome Lauren Parfit. Lauren Parfit is new member number 3 at joinpacman.com. The most direct way to support these streams, which we've been doing, State of the Union, Iowa results, New Hampshire results, impeachment hearings, impeachment vote, all this stuff. The best way to do it is by grabbing a membership at joinpacman.com. And you can do it at 66% off, incredibly, using that code right up there. Let me say thank you to Ran Cossack NA for subscribing with Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Other super chats that are coming in, if you have questions, they will pop up on the screen on the bottom left of the screen. If you send a super chat on YouTube, they'll pop up in that vertical blue rectangle above my head if you send them via Twitch subscription. Betazoid says, during the intro song for your show, who is the voice saying the David Pakman Show at davidpakman.com? Oh, that's my old friend. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say his name because he's actually a pretty well-known radio voiceover artist. It's an old friend of mine who does a lot of radio voiceovers, who cut those lines for me for free. But unfortunately, I have to protect him. He's actually a right-winger, and that's not a joke. He just did me a favor. So I'm going to keep his identity secret. Scott Taylor Davis, do you have any dropout predictions after tonight? That's interesting. Dropout. I mean, listen, there's people who obviously should have dropped out a long time ago who haven't. And the fact that they haven't so far suggests maybe they'll stay in. But it seems to me that Tulsi can probably end it after tonight. Deval Patrick maybe will justify staying in because Massachusetts is still to vote, and he was, of course, the governor here in Massachusetts. So maybe there's, justification for him to stay in. But I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I'm sorry, I skipped somebody. Absurd Infection says, burn one for Bernie. This state's in the bag. It is very, very possible that Bernie Sanders will indeed win tonight. D. Smitty 1576, would you ever do a Grand Theft Auto 5 live stream? I remember you saying you enjoy the series. Yeah, I have not actually played GTA 5, but I would certainly consider that. Make It Simple says, feel the burn. KWB says, how would you rank the more centrist candidates still in the race? Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar. That's interesting. I'd have to think about that. Other than his horrible racism and history of stop and frisk, I almost think Bloomberg is more interesting than these three centrists if you make me pick a centrist, although the Ben Dixon racism revelations, the audio from today, is absolutely stunning. But I'd have to think about it. It never occurred to me to support any of them. So I actually have not given it that much thought. Sky RWBY says, have you seen the What If Bernie Sanders had an anime opening there for good for a laugh? I have not seen it, but I will make a note of that. Aaron Hamrick says, it burns when I P-tape Ave Sanders, clearly speaking in some code that I am not privy to. And Matthew Plumley has also picked up a YouTube subscription. I appreciate that. Over on Twitch, I want to say thanks to Farmer Kip for cheering 5 bits. We now have 5% reporting in New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders is in the lead with nearly 30% of the vote. Pete Buttigieg in second place at 22. Amy Klobuchar at 18 and Warren at 12. Joseph R. Biden Jr., ladies and gentlemen, doing apparently the right thing in getting the you-know-what out of New Hampshire. He's already landed in South Carolina, I think. Joe Biden is polling so far at 7.2 in the actual results. Remember that Biden was polling 11 on the way in. So I believe that not only will Amy Klobuchar likely be the biggest overperformer of the night, Biden may end up being the largest underperformer of the night relative to the polling going in, which is absolutely incredible and suggests a possible rapid implosion, quite frankly, of Joe Biden's campaign for president. Let me say thank you and welcome to Joshua Dietz. Joshua is new member number 4 at joinpacman.com. I also want to say thank you to Jacob Hendricks, who is new member number 5 at joinpacman.com. Tanner Captainoglu is new member number 6 at joinpacman.com. Strikes me as potentially is that a Turkish last name? I like it. Dexter Mussington is new member number 7 at joinpacman.com. Remember to, if you want, don't feel obligated, but if you want, use the coupon code 2020 now. That'll chop 66% off of the cost of your membership. Let's see, other super chats coming in. Blaze Gamer says, do you reckon it will be a Bloomberg-Bernie race? I think that Michael Bloomberg is going to end up doing pretty well, but I think it will remain a 3-candidate race. I think it will be Bernie, Bloomberg, and likely one of the other more establishment centrists. Increasingly, it looks like not Biden, potentially Pete Buttigieg or Amy Klobuchar. That's my sense of it right now. And as I said before, I think there is a very good chance that Bloomberg ends up actually 3rd in delegates on the in the Democratic primary. Welcome to everybody watching on Twitch for the first time. Over the weekend, I won. I reigned victorious in the Raj Royale. I defeated a gentleman who goes by the handle Airsoft Fatty in a absolutely contentious finale. And if this is your first time watching one of my streams on Twitch, if you're one of the couple thousand people that signed up, followed my channel because of my victory on the Raj program, I welcome you and appreciate you joining me very, very much. Speaking of which, I do want to say thanks to Kamiki123 for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Very much appreciate that. Vincent, Gormoroth says, I hope you will run for office one day. That's an idea. Vincent O'Driscoll and James Gollin have both subscribed at the soy boy level on my YouTube channel. Mike K says, good to see Biden performing like the horse-faced pony soldier that he is. I never know how to pronounce this. Quetzalcoatl, the serpent god, says, hoping for a Bernie, Tulsi, Yang triumvirate. Listen, Yang and Tulsi they're not going to win. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know if I still have to. By the way, I don't even know if this is so toxic. I don't know if I even want to get into it, but on Wednesday or Thursday last week, I did a story saying Iowa shouldn't go first. Iowa shouldn't go first because Iowa is not demographically representative of anything. Iowa shouldn't go first because we shouldn't have a caucus go first. We should actually get rid of caucuses, or caucus, as I like to say, plural, altogether. That's a joke, by the way. And I said, I'm not insulting Iowans. And someone said, David, I canceled my membership because you're being so disrespectful to Iowans. And it's like, what can I do? I issue these disclaimers. People get mad and say, David, that's an idiotic disclaimer. You couldn't possibly believe that you were insulting Iowans when you said Iowa shouldn't go first. And case in point, someone canceled their membership because I said Iowa really shouldn't go first. It's, what can I do? Anyway, Paul Jacoby says, I'm starting to get a burning sensation when pissing. Clear sign we're winning. I would talk to a urologist about that. Aniket Patil sends a 200. I always forget is that the Indian currency, rupees, I believe. What do you think will happen to the Biden campaign if Biden doesn't overwhelmingly win in South Carolina? It's probably over for him. If Biden, listen, Biden's coming in 5th right now. Biden came in 4th in Iowa. It's all not happening. Sometimes I like to say it's all happening. It's all not happening for Joe Biden very, very clearly. Let me say a few other thank yous. I want to say thank you to Jonathan Salada, who is new member number 8 of the evening. Michael Tetler is new member number 9. I really appreciate your support very, very much. And did I miss anybody else? No, I think that's it. I think I'm caught up. Yes, I'm caught up. Thank you very much. We do have the best way to support the all streams, but in particular this one, is to use the code 2020 now and sign up at joinpacman.com. Our goal is 50 new members. Why 50? Because there's 50 states. That's why. And we are currently at 9. Very exciting stuff. Super chats continue to come in. Great to hear from folks in the audience. Ultra Sane says, do you find it difficult to keep up with chat? I'm mostly paying attention to super chat and then messages coming in via Twitch Prime, and that is very, very good stuff. Let's see here. What am I? So I'm getting some interesting messages here that there may be a call happening at the top of the hour at 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m. in 3 minutes, we can go over to the live coverage happening with the Washington Post, as well as over on PBS, and see if indeed a call is made. As of right now, what we have with 7% reporting, Bernie Sanders in first place with a 5.3 percentage point lead over Pete Buttigieg at 22.4. Amy Klobuchar continuing to drastically overperform her polling at 19.7. Elizabeth Warren at 12.2. Biden embarrassing at 7.5. And then you've got, a few people with a little bit of the vote. You've got Tom Steyer, Andrew Yang, Tulsi. You've got some write-ins. Deval Patrick is below that. He's off screen because he's actually so low. Let me say thank you and welcome to Red Wolf 8. Actually, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody here. Red Wolf 8, who subscribed with on Twitch. Davey So with the message, good job in the growth at Twitch, David. Keep it up. Odd Shaman cheered some bits. The Apex Wolf subscribed with Prime. And the Mini Squish has also subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate that. Dillinger Sladak. No, sorry. I always say this wrong, and let me scroll back up. Dillinger Siadik says, it's the Pac-Man. Yes. Timo S., did you see Biden infantilizing the disability advocate? Very cringe and telling how moderates feel about disabled folk. I didn't see that. I saw him call a woman a dog-faced pony soldier, though. Wilner's Wonderful World says, at what point do you think Yang/Tulsi call it quits? Honestly, it's got to be soon, but they'll probably stay until the first 4 primaries are over, at least. Ricky Williams says, rumor has it Biden was telling crickets to vote for someone else at his rally last night. Big if true. Did not hear that. KJV35 has retracted a super chat. Daniel Rivera, media will say New Hampshire doesn't matter after Bernie wins. Listen, New Hampshire matters less than it has in a long time, but it's still important. Every win is a win. Every win is a proof of viability in a different geographical location among a different electorate. So every win is big, but it is true that this race, Super Tuesday, is going to determine what's going on here. After Super Tuesday, Michael Bloomberg may be a very viable contender here. I believe that he will be much more viable than some people believe. Super Tuesday will determine who is going to be the establishment shot. Is it going to be Biden? Increasingly, the answer seems no. Is it going to be Peter Amy? Increasingly, the answer seems maybe so. Let's see now what is happening. It is now 8 p.m. in the East, 5 p.m. in the West. And so far, no calls yet. We see a number of different regions leaning towards different candidates, and it looks as though so far there is no call being made. Remember that last Democratic primary, Bernie Sanders defeating Hillary Clinton so overwhelmingly in New Hampshire that it was called now at 8 p.m. Also, Vermin Supreme, who I was hanging out with in New Hampshire last primary, came in 4th with 268 votes. A lot of people don't remember that. Also, a lot of people don't remember that Stephen Roy Lipscomb ended up with 15 votes in New Hampshire. That's an interesting bit of trivia from last time around. Okay, Serge Mix-a-Lot and Troy Liege have subscribed with Twitch Prime. No messages. I very much appreciate the support. I want to say thank you to Jeremy Tucker. Jeremy is new member number 10 of the evening. I want to say thanks to Harrison Jordan, who is new member number 11 of the evening. Denise Vanderzee is new member number 12. John Tyler is new member number 13, lucky 13. Very much appreciate that. We are targeting 50 new members. This is for tonight. That's not for this week. That's not for this month. That's tonight, folks. We are targeting 50 new members tonight at joinpacman.com. The numbers continue to come in. We now are up to 9% reporting. Bernie Sanders still in the lead. Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar in a fight for second place, distantly behind Elizabeth Warren and even further behind Joe Biden. If by the time we get to 15%, Elizabeth Warren is not, I would say, within 5 points of Amy, I believe that Warren is done and that this will essentially be a race between Bernie, Pete, and Klobuchar. If Bernie maintains a 5 percentage point lead as we close in on 35 or even 40, it's going to be tougher and tougher for anybody to overtake Bernie Sanders. Welcome if you're joining us. It is primary day in New Hampshire, our friendly neighbors to the north here in Boston. We are watching live results come in now with 10% reporting. We are taking questions and comments on YouTube by Super Chat, on Twitch with subscription messages. And we are anxiously awaiting what will ultimately be final results here tonight. As a quick reminder, Bernie Sanders easily winning the Democratic primary in New Hampshire in 2016 by almost a 2-to-1 margin. Also, polling going in today, as you can see on screen, Bernie Sanders leading, followed by Buttigieg and Klobuchar, Warren, and then Biden. Klobuchar, Warren, and Biden essentially all tied for third. I predicted coming in that we were going to see the greatest overperformance by Amy Klobuchar, and so far, that is very, very much happening. If you were hoping Amy Klobuchar was getting out soon, it is not happening after today. And I was seeing interviews with her aides indicating that she is going to be making a tour of some of the different Super Tuesday states, Super Tuesday election states very, very soon. Some people are suggesting we switch to the Washington Post New Hampshire results, that they are more updated. Let me take a look at that. They may not be as advantageous for the screen. They are ahead, though, 14%. Let's see what it'll look like if I pull those up. I'm glad to switch to those, but I want to make sure we can all see them. Yeah, see the layout of the screen. Oh, boy, and all sorts of things are happening. The layout is not as good, and I don't know the exact right way to get it all looking right. Let me see if we've got anything else here. I don't love it, guys. Yeah, I'm not loving it. The display on the New York Times, I prefer the fake news New York Times results layout to the Amazon Jeff Bezos Washington Post layout today. Because I want everybody to be able to see what we are talking about here. Okay, other super chats that have continued to roll in. Timmy Lunsford says, I haven't been able to listen to you lately. Is Trump still the winner of the general, in your opinion? You're the best. You know, I don't want to be defeatist. Let's just work through the process. But if you look at the betting odds, there's no doubt that Donald Trump is still quite well positioned in general in this election. Grundle Grump, do you have a favorite political cartoon? I don't even have a political cartoon to even mention. I just never look at political cartoons. People coming in asking whether Tulsi has won yet. She has not yet won. She has not yet won. And we will see how long it takes her to win. James B. says, David, would you rather be forced to watch every album of Kids Bop nonstop or Pete the Cheat win by a rigged election? You know, because I have no clue what Kids Bop is, I would not be able to comment. KJV35 says, any chance you open the phones tonight? Yes, there is absolutely a chance. Dream of the 90s says, how many hours per day do you think Boot Edge spends in front of a mirror practicing to sound like Obama? That's good. I like that. That's very, very good. Oh, sorry. These are coming in so quickly that it's starting to scroll. Let me go back up. Oh, boy. Super Chat's just flying in, folks. Absolutely flying in. Let me see here. Okay, here we go. Justin Ward. Any new results? Not quite yet. Justin Ward says, I'm ecstatic about Bernie's chances tonight. Why is it, though, that I sense a disturbance in the force? Hard to say. Thanks to Roger Rivera for the YouTube subscription. Matthew McDole, appreciate it. Let me say a few Twitch thank yous. I remember you guys on Twitch. You guys are not chopped liver. I appreciate you. Let me say thanks to JP Fern81 for the Twitch Prime subscription and VVL Rando for the Twitch Prime subscription. Thank you very, very much. I also want to say thanks to Jeremy Maylock. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jeremy is new member number 14 this evening. If you're wondering, how do you support the David Pakman Show channel and the streams and all this stuff? You probably have no idea because I never mention it. So I'll tell you, the best way is just grab a membership at joinpakman.com. All the info is right up there above my head. We've got a 66% off coupon code 2020 now, which will save you 2/3. And then everybody cheers and people love it. And I thank you. And it's just a great, great thing to do at joinpakman.com. As the results continue to roll in, Bernie Sanders holding a lead currently. Let's see, VRS Hyde F23 says, due to recent revelations, do you not think that Bloomberg's campaign might be obliterated at this point? What demographic could he pick up? Yeah, our good friend Benjamin Dixon putting out very, very brutal, vile audio from Bloomberg today. And we will have to wait and see what the how polling changes for Bloomberg on the basis of Ben Dixon's stunning, stunning revelations. Let's see here. What else do we have? Betazoid says, can your team please upload the bonus show before the regular show on the Apple Podcast member feed? That way it's the correct order for listeners. You know, we'll deal with that. That's an issue. I am getting messages from people claiming that Andrew Yang is done. Andrew Yang is done, according to a whole bunch of different people. Andrew Yang is dropping out, ladies and gentlemen. I said 5 minutes ago that he should do it. And indeed, Andrew Yang is out. Now, I know that there are still Yang gangers who are going to tell me that Yang is about to corner the market and is going to win. But Andrew Yang himself is suspending his campaign. Andrew Yang Twitter. Let's see the announcement from Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang says, okay, that's not it. Oh, I guess he hasn't tweeted it yet. I'm so proud of this campaign. Thank you to everyone who got us here. Okay, so apparently has not yet announced it, but breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Yang is suspending his campaign, and not hugely surprising. I mean, we've been saying for a while that he doesn't have a shot. And indeed, Andrew Yang making good on that. Let's see what, who, if anybody, Andrew Yang gets behind, or if he simply says, we've got to vote for whoever is the eventual Democratic nominee. Andrew Yang out. Yes, indeed. D. Smitty asks, do you want Tom Brady to stay with the Patriots? I do, but we have bigger fish to fry tonight. Vincent O'Driscoll says, greetings from Ireland, hoping Bernie lights fire for a worldwide movement. Other countries can't believe the corruption and cheating going on. Love the show. Thank you. Harutian Demirian says, will Armenia be mentioned in the election? I don't know. Good question. Sean Walker, how can the DNC screw this up? They always can. Appreciate the super chat from Livingston Cole. Stephen Davis says, should Liz drop out? Hurting Bernie, can't win the nomination. I don't see a path for Warren to the nomination. You're absolutely right. I can't imagine her dropping out if she keeps getting close to 15% in a bunch of different states. I don't imagine we will see her drop out. Let me say thank you and welcome to Ernesto Moore. Ernesto Moore is new member number 15 of the evening at joinpacman.com. Appreciate the support, Ernesto. Thank you very much. KWB asks, who would you pick for Bernie's VP? I have decided I'm not talking VP until we know who the nominee is going to be. I do one step at a time. Ricky Williams says donation to pick a question from the chat. All right, let's take a look here. Questions from the chat. Questions from the chat. All right, question from the chat is, will the Yang bots stop claiming Andrew Yang is going to win now that he has dropped out? I don't know. I actually still, I believe there will still be some Yang gangers who maybe just satirically will keep saying he could win with like a write-in campaign or something like that. Daniel Huberman says Yang is suspending his campaign tonight. Yes, indeed. Dillinger Sciatic says Bernie's second choice of 35% of Warren supporters. Bernie is the second choice of 35% of Warren supporters. What are your thoughts? Yes, not surprising. Those numbers have been similar for a while. Thomas Shomo says David switch to Vox. New York Times results are super behind. All right, let's look at Vox, New Hampshire results. We'll get, let's see if we can get these updated. All right. These might actually work for us. Oh, God, this is not good. Let me see if I can, actually, I think I might be able to do this. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, let's zoom it in a little bit. And then now, boom, I love it. Okay, race-wide results. Oh, God, what is happening? There it is. All right, very good. So this is with a 25% reporting. Thank you for the suggestion. With 25% reporting, Bernie Sanders still in the lead ahead of Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar in third, Warren fourth, Joe Biden fifth, Steyer, Gabbard, Yang following behind. Very, very important stuff. Let me say thanks to a few people over on Twitch. Bundang Boy has subscribed with Prime. Vercake87 says, I hope someone picks up Andrew Yang's policy proposal for universal basic income. Seems as though it would change the country for the better. We will see if anybody does that. We continue to see Bernie Sanders hold a lead, although a slightly smaller lead than earlier in the night. This is now with 25% reporting. Let me say thank you to a few other people who are just amazingly good people for signing up at joinpacman.com. Renee Gaffnia is new member number 16 of the evening, and Denise Russell is new member number 17 of the evening. We do have a membership target of 50 new members. As you see, every time somebody signs up, the bar creeps across the screen. The coupon code 2020 now saves you two-thirds. Let's continue with super chats. Livingston Cole has signed up on YouTube. Caleb Ihea says, you're a cool dude, Pacman. Sweating in the sun at work in New Zealand, listening to your stuff. It must be what, 9:15 in the morning in New Zealand? Is that right? The Grizzly Progressive says, hey, David, I'm worried if Buttigieg and Klobuchar team up, Bernie would be on the ropes. What are your thoughts? Well, I don't know how exactly they would team up right now. So I'm not sure I understand the idea. First in, last Kappa says, hey, David, do you think if either or Yang or Tulsi drop out and endorse Bernie, would that hurt Bernie or help him? I don't think any endorsement from the current candidates would hurt Bernie. I just don't know how much it would move the needle. Oh, it's 2:15 in the afternoon in New Zealand. Wow. So it's, is that possible? So 12? It's 18 hours later in New Zealand? That doesn't sound right. All right, well, I'm not an expert in time zones, that's for sure. Haven't claimed to be. Brooks Madden says, David, I know you're heterosexual, but I decided to spend $5 anyway to let you know that you're my dream guy. Somebody please clip that. That's a good standalone upload super chat for our Instagram page. Alan Sachs says, what do you support Tulsi driving a Ford in Iowa? Yeah, someone canceled their membership to my show because I said I don't think Ford makes great vehicles. Sorry, you know. But in any case, yes, I don't care what kind of a car Tulsi drives through Iowa. Per Tiran coming in with a massive 500 Swedish kroner super chat, which is $51.90. Per says many issues is coming up. Poor Idaho children. May the be alive corona. We will find a cure. Election. May sanity get on top. Per, thank you. Per's contributions from Sweden, always very much appreciated. We are now at nearly 27% reporting. We do have Bernie Sanders still in the lead at about 5.8%. Pete Buttigieg, second place. Amy Klobuchar, still the biggest overperformer. We do know, for people asking in the chat, that Andrew Yang has ended his campaign. We did know that. Andrew Yang, John Yang, everybody, every name he has been misnamed as, they have all suspended their campaigns. And Andrew Yang with about 2,300 votes so far in the New Hampshire primary with 26% reporting. Let me say thank you to Near Death. I hope that's not true, for the Twitch Prime subscription, and Durzo Panis for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Appreciate both of you. Alex Sotelo says Wikipedia lists Bloomberg and Bernie as Republican candidates in New Hampshire. Do you know if that's correct? Could Republicans vote for them today? I have no idea about that, but it sounds like a massive distraction. Mr. Pengo, or MR Pengo, says, whoops, just scrolled up. When a bunch of super chats come in at once, they scroll up. Mr. Pengo says, when should Warren drop out and endorse Bernard if she's a legitimate progressive? Probably after Super Tuesday. I think if she doesn't have a path to the nomination after Super Tuesday, she should drop out and endorse Bernie. It's me, John B. says, gave a like to promote the stream. Yes, welcome. Listen, if you're just joining us, we somehow have had 24,000 people come through this stream so far, and only 544 have liked the stream. My YouTube rep told me today, likes really help your stream. They help YouTube know to promote your stream over somebody else's. So please hit the like button. And by the way, while we're at it, please hit the subscribe button. As many of you know, we hit 800,000 subscribers live on stream last week, and we are only 494 away from 805,000 subscribers. So like and subscribe are both very much appreciated. Leave a comment, that's appreciated. Whatever you can do, it all is very, very much appreciated. My phone is exploding from people shocked that Amy Klobuchar is doing so well. I said it, I've been saying it all day. Amy Klobuchar will overperform the polls by the greatest margin of any candidate tonight. And so far she is doing it. She was polling, I believe, 11-7 going in. And she is overperforming by more than 8 percentage points right now. Very interesting, because that does mean she is going to be in this thing for a while. Let me say thank you to Zakrati for subscribing with Twitch Prime. I appreciate that. Let me thank a few new members. Michael Humler. Michael Humler is new member number 18. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. The place to sign up is joinpacman.com, as we are now inching towards 1/3 reporting. 1/3. We are at 27.27%. Bernie Sanders still with a lead, although the lead has now shrunk. At one point it was 12. Bernie's lead is now down to 4.6 as near as I can tell. Pete Buttigieg still in a fight with Amy Klobuchar, right around the 20 to 22% mark. Very interesting what is going on. Very, very interesting. Charles Argyle says, Sup DP, I love you. Do you read The Progressive Populist or In These Times? Do you like horror movies? Very good questions. I don't read either of those publications, and I do not watch horror movies. Paul Jacoby says, zoom out your screen. You zoomed in earlier to read. I think this is a pretty good zoom level for the results, right? Do people want to advise me on the zoom level in the chat? I'm glad to adjust if necessary. The only thing I want to make sure of is can we get back to other stuff easily? Yes, we can. Oh, let's listen to Andrew Yang ending his campaign.
Force in this entire race. The Yang Gang has fundamentally shifted the direction of this country and transformed our politics, and we are only continuing to grow.
Andrew Yang dropping out, by the way.
I'd like to thank my incredible staff and the hundreds of people who left their lives and their jobs to join and build this campaign. I know what a risk that was. Very few people joined this campaign because they thought it was going to be a good career move. So thank you. Thank you to my team. My goal when I first started running was to solve the problems that got Donald Trump elected. In order to do that, I will support whoever is the Democratic nominee.
That's the right thing to say. Will he endorse someone, though?
Andrew Yang announcing that he's dropping out of the presidential race. That's Andrew Yang announcing he's dropping out. But Elizabeth Warren is also coming out to address her supporters. So we're going to move over to the Warren event.
Warren not doing well today. Let's see what she has to say. Coming out early, hoping to get some media attention. Let's see what's going on.
Hello, New Hampshire. So the results are still coming in from across the state, but right now it is clear that Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg had strong nights. And I also want to congratulate my friend and colleague, Amy Klobuchar, for showing just how wrong the pundits can be when they count a woman out.
Strange start, I have to say.
But since we are here tonight among family and friends, I also want us to be honest with ourselves as Democrats. We might be headed for another one of those long primary fights that last for months.
I believe we are.
We're 2 states in, with 55 states and territories to go. We still have 98% of our delegates for our nomination up for grabs, and Americans in every part of the country are going to make their voices heard. That's right. The question for us Democrats is whether it will be a long, bitter rehash of the same old divides in our party, or whether we can find another way. Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg are both great people, and either one of them would be a far better president than Donald Trump.
This is almost a concession speech, weirdly, isn't it? This is very interesting.
But the fight between factions in our party has taken a sharp turn in recent weeks, with ads mocking other candidates and with supporters of some candidates shouting curses at other Democratic candidates. These harsh tactics might work if you are willing to burn down the rest of the party in order to be the last man standing. They might work if you don't worry about leaving our party and our politics worse off than how you found it. And they might work if you think only you have all the answers and only you are the solution to all our problems. But if we're going to beat Donald Trump in November, we are going to need huge turnout within our party. And to get that turnout, we will need a nominee that the broadest coalition of our party feels like they can get behind.
Interesting. Wow. So Elizabeth Warren, despite clarifying that this is still a fight and there's a lot of, that mostly all the delegates are available, she almost sounds like she's saying whether it's Bernie or Buttigieg, they're both better than Trump and we've got to get behind the nominee.
Now look, we cannot afford to fall into factions. We can't afford to squander our collective power. We win when we come together.
It's a unity speech, folks.
You know, the Reverend Jesse Jackson once said, "It takes 2 wings to fly." And I think he's right. Our campaign is best positioned to beat Donald Trump in November because we can unite our party. We can unite this party and this country by mobilizing people behind ideas that are not only popular, with huge majorities of the American people, but that also accomplish structural change for our broken government and our rigged economy.
All right, so now Elizabeth Warren going into more just generic stump speech type stuff, but very interesting that Elizabeth Warren currently with 10% of the vote, with 30% reporting in fourth place, essentially saying, listen, this could be long and I'm staying in it, but it looks like Bernie or Buttigieg are probably sort of going to be the nominees. Very, very interesting approach, and it's a unity speech in a sense. Let me say thank you on Twitch to a whole bunch of people signing up with Twitch Prime, including Xavier Vasco and Wood Jaguar, Artorius Kurakami, Giant Duck, Tortel Rhino, who says only positive thing from Trump is he's revealed just how close the USA is to Russia in so many ways. Go Bernie. If you are just joining us, Elizabeth Warren already giving a sort of concession speech, Andrew Yang completely ending his campaign. Maybe we will get lucky and Tulsi will also come out and say she is ending the campaign. We will continue reading super chats from folks as the results come in. Pyroplasma says, Mr. Pacman, I've done it. I've stopped racism. Congratulations. Jacob Perez says, did you see Yang dropped out? Yes, I did. We just mentioned it. Paul Jacoby, that way you could use updated results site. Okay. Epic fails. Yang has suspended his campaign. It's me, John B. Yang suspends campaign. Print Hub, did you see the undecided voter that said they voted Bernie because of MSNBC smears while being interviewed by MSNBC? I did, and we're going to look at that tomorrow on the show. This is Agel. Hey, just wanted to give you $2, no question. Okay. Ernest Saucedo has subscribed on YouTube. Jeff H., if I die, tell Bernie Sanders I love him. Parta Cool Wave says F in the chat for the Yang gang. People want to go back to the speech. Okay, we can go back to the speech. Let's see.
But not my plan. And I have been in this fight, though, this fight for working families for decades. I fought credit card companies as they tried to trick and track consumers. I fought our own banking regulators to hold them accountable during the financial crash. I fought to build a new federal agency to protect consumers from predatory financial institutions. And I got in this fight. I ran for office because I saw that families were being squeezed harder than ever, and too many politicians were not getting enough done. I'm here to get big things done.
Okay. Interesting.
Because here's the thing about politicians. Whether they're offering vague platitudes or powerful rhetoric, they will ultimately face the same test, actually getting anything done in a Washington that is badly broken. Americans from all political backgrounds don't need a bunch of flowery words to explain this. They know deep down in their bones exactly why government doesn't work for them. It's corruption, and we need to call it out for what it is. Corruption that gives lobbyists a louder voice than voters. The corruption that lets big companies pay nothing in taxes while small businesses pay full freight. The corruption that ensures that nothing ever changes on gun violence or climate policy or drug prices, even though nearly everyone in America wants change. And let's be specific here. On a day when career prosecutors showed more backbone than almost every Republican senator standing up to this president, Americans of all political stripes are gravely concerned about the corruption of a Trump Justice Department that abandons the rule of law to give sweetheart deals to criminals who commit their crimes on behalf of Donald Trump. And yes, Roger Stone, I'm looking at you.
Ooh, we'll deal with that on tomorrow's show. I'll take this opportunity for a water refill. Be right back.
So tonight, I have a message for our party and for this nation. Our best chance of beating Donald Trump is with a candidate who can do the work. And I mean the hard, disciplined work. A candidate who can build a campaign to unite our party, and a candidate who can build a movement that is ready to take on corruption and win. The only way we can take on corruption in Washington is if we're not beholden to it. Let's just check the facts. Amy and I are the only candidates in this race who are not either billionaires or supported by super PACs. And unlike other candidates, I don't fund my campaign by spending time behind closed doors sucking up to wealthy donors. Is powered by you. It is powered by people. And over the past year, I've had the chance to shake hands or hug way over 100,000 people in more than 220 town halls in 29 states and Puerto Rico. And you know, there are a lot of differences among us. We come from different backgrounds, different religions, languages, and experiences. We have different dreams and different aspirations. We feel the urgency of this moment in different ways. But with all of those glorious differences, for the most part, we want the same things. We want an America where decisions in Washington aren't bought and paid for by lobbyists and big donors. We want an America where every person has a voice in our democracy. We want an America where fossil fuel companies don't have a vice grip on our planet. An America where we can breathe the air and drink the water. An America where every child can dream big and actually have a chance to make it. Because no matter the color of your skin, who you love, how you worship, or what zip code you live in, you deserve an America where you are safe and your opportunities are just as good as anyone else's. You are amazing. I can see that America. That America is within our reach. And if you can imagine that America, if you think it's worth fighting for, then join us. Go to ElizabethWarren.com right now, pitch in a few bucks, sign up to volunteer, get involved with our campaign. This moment will not come our way again. So tonight,
It feels like a concession speech for the entire thing. We'll talk about that in a moment.
Tonight, I'm here to say thank you. Thank you to every volunteer. Thank you to every organizer, to every door knocker, to every phone banker, for every $5 donor. Thank you. Thank you for helping build a movement to take back our democracy and to rebuild it from the grassroots up. And while I'm thanking everyone, I want to take just a moment, where are you, to thank my sweetie Bruce.
They're saying Bruce, they're not booing.
I also want to thank the good boy who posed for one selfie after another, our Bailey.
Who does she
fight
think?
we're in, the fight to save our democracy, is an uphill battle. But our campaign is built for the long haul. And we are just getting started. I am grateful down to my toes for what our campaign has been able to accomplish so far. My plans for this country have been influenced by letters pressed into my palms by little girls. My will to fight has been strengthened by the people who have whispered their dreams in my ears. My determination to lead a movement has been forged by the tens of thousands of people who have said they are ready to fight for an America they know we can be. Because if we have the hope that comes with dreaming big, if we have the courage to fight hard, we are going to win. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. So Elizabeth Warren giving a speech that on the one hand is about her campaign, but on the other hand felt very much like a concession speech, and repeating multiple times that both Bernie and Pete are great options. Of course, Bernie and Pete currently locked in a battle for first place in New Hampshire. The lead now 4.8 percentage points for Bernie Sanders. Elizabeth Warren in a distant fourth place, and of course conceding the evening, as we know exactly what is going on. Mathematically no longer really a possibility that Warren would come back and win. Let me say thank you to some folks, and then I want to get back to your questions. Thomas Carter is new member number 19 on my website. Thomas, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Sharon Hartling is new member number 20. Thank you, Sharon. Francois Lardot is new member number 21. Richard Oge or Ogie, I don't know which pronunciation is correct. You are new member number 22. And Rick Stowell, you are new member number 23 this evening. I really appreciate everybody's supports. There have been a lot of streams. They've been long, but we are doing it, and really appreciate everybody who has been contributing one way or the other. Norjapab says with a $50 super chat, tying Per Tiren's big super chat of the day, we really have to talk about infrastructure spending costs. Spain is getting about 20 times as much infrastructure as us per dollar. At the extremes, New York East Side access, we're spending 100 times as much for subways on a per kilometer basis. 4 billion per kilometer versus 43 million per kilometer. Okay, infrastructure, a very big topic. KWB, how much money to give us your choice for Bernie VP? It's not about convincing me to tell you. I just haven't thought about VP because I'm just focused on presidential. Per Tiren says it is 2:15 in the morning in Sweden. Well, it must be 2:39 a.m. now. Thanks for staying up late with us, Per. The kiwi industry. Oops. Sorry about that. Where did the kiwi industry go? Says, love your show from Guam. Giancarlo Chiribao says, get yourself something nice. Incredibo TV, I am a simple man. I see Pac-Man on YouTube live and I throw him a couple dollars. Keep up the good work, man. Thank you. RD Finner, thanks for the super chat. KWB, can you please solve this math problem to pay respects to the Yang campaign? 34 divided by 2 times 3 times 17 in parentheses. Okay, well, that's 3451 because I think you do parentheses first. 51. And then now the thing is, I actually can't tell, is it 17 times 51 or is it 134 divided by 102? Because of the spacing and the formatting, I'm having a little difficulty with it. So I'm gonna keep going. Hal says, do you think it would be helpful for Bernie to use the term welfare state instead of social democracy? No, I would not do that. Part a cool wave says F in the chat for Yang. Rip for the gang and smash that like button. Yes, indeed. Please, if you are watching on YouTube, hit the like button. Please, if you are watching on Twitch, hit the follow button. These things are free, folks, and they really help our stream be recommended by YouTube. And if you are on YouTube, by the way, I would actually appreciate you not only hitting like, but hit subscribe as well, because we are now down to just 462 subscribers from 805,000, which is a nice round, big number. Let's see what else we have going on. Nothing too interesting. We will go to speeches, although we are not seeing any other speeches right now. So we will stay on the live results, where Bernie is holding about a 4.8 percentage point lead over Pete Buttigieg, Pete holding about 3% over Amy Klobuchar, and then Warren right around 10, Biden below that. Nobody else really has a shot. I would like to see Tulsi drop out tonight. I think that would be a nice show of logic and reason. Amy Klobuchar continuing to be the big overperformer, as I predicted that she would be. And that race tightening just a little more, now down to only a 4.4% advantage for Bernie. Slipping a little bit, started at about 12. Let's see here. Emily Grease says hello from Canada. Sorry to hear about your president. Hope it gets better soon. Thanks, Emily. Appreciate that. Let me do some Twitch thank yous. I want to say thanks to Mr. Relu for the Twitch Prime sub. Says thanks for all the news coverage. Not bought out and... Oh no, I lost it. Now I can't see it. I'm sure it was a very nice message. Rhino subscribed with Twitch Prime. Chrismos1 subscribed with Twitch Prime. Dillasaur has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Very much appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. I think the reason Amy is overperforming is that if you look at the polling coming in, Amy Klobuchar was in the middle. Amy Klobuchar is the black line here. Oh boy, we can't see a damn thing. Let me scroll down and then let me see if I can do this. There we go. Oh, you still can't see it. Okay. Amy Klobuchar recently, there you go. See this big uptick, the black line, Amy Klobuchar? Polling ended a few days ago, and it's very clear that she was in the middle of an upswing when the last polling was done. And therefore, I am not surprised that she is actually polling better. She is doing better than the latest polls showed. Let me say thank you to Controlled Chaos 1982 for the Twitch Prime sub. I appreciate that. Let's thank some new members. Kurt Belanger is new member number 24 of the evening. Kurt, thank you. Let me also say thanks to Jazz Hayes, who is new member number 25 of the evening. If you're wondering, like, what the hell is this membership nonsense? We do have a membership program at joinpacman.com. We have a coupon code where you save 2/3, 66%. And everybody who signs up, I personally thank. We are halfway to our goal of 50. And it's an amazing thing. Let's continue seeing super chats. Michael Price says, Bernie bros and Yang gangers unite. Plenty of room in Bernie's tent. Yes, the Yang gangers should not go home. They should not take their ball and go home, and they should not go vote for Trump. They should vote for whoever is the eventual Democratic nominee. Okay. Zachary Monroe, have you heard about Trump's new budget proposal? It's disgusting. Also, do you watch Sam Cedar, Farron Cousins, or Jesse Dollemore? I don't watch any political talk shows. I know Sam and Farron personally. They're friends of mine. I'm going to see them in a few weeks. I don't know nor watch Jesse Dollemore, but I've heard that he's a very nice guy. Nina77 says, don't know how superdelegates work. Trump supporting relative believes because of superdelegates. Bernie doesn't have a real chance. Any thoughts? As of right now, superdelegates are not allowed to vote in the first round at the convention, meaning Bernie or whoever would need to secure the nomination on the first round, or superdelegates get to vote. Now, that being said, the DNC is considering allowing superdelegates back into the first round. There are a number of reports, including in Politico, about that. If they did that, it would be a huge liability for Bernie Sanders for sure. Per Tiran says, I will not fall in sleep. Oh, we lost Per. Per fell asleep. It's very late in Sweden. Ian Jones says New Hampshire is one of the easy win states for the most progressive politicians. Yeah, listen, this matters, and it's not the be all end all. Bernie won 60-38 in 2016 and lost the nomination. It's momentum. It's proof of concept. It's early PR, but you still got to go out and do well on Super Tuesday. I think Super Tuesday is going to tell us more, that we're going to know so much more on March 4th about who is really in this thing for the long haul. Let me say thank you to Daddy Dean Machine for subscribing with Twitch Prime. We now have 1,048 Twitch subscribers, and I would love to make it 1,100 tonight. So I really appreciate everybody over on Twitch. If you are new to my streams and you heard about me because I was on the Raj Royale on Saturday, welcome. I did, as many of you know, defeat a gentleman who goes by Airsoft Fatty. And I encourage you to check out my incredible victory that took place on Saturday evening. Do check out Airsoft Fatty's YouTube channel or Twitch channel as well. I believe Airsoft Fatty is one of the great contemporary entertainers currently. Very, very funny stuff on his channel. Lucas Warner says, why isn't Bloomberg on the ballot? I'm not a supporter. Bloomberg has just skipped Iowa and New Hampshire, and I don't even know if he's on the ballot in Nevada and South Carolina. Bloomberg's going right to Super Tuesday. Hutchie says, saludos. Bernie is like US's Jose Mujica, the former president of one of my favorite countries, Uruguay. Very interesting. Thank you. We now have 41% reporting in New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders is holding a lead, although the lead is shrinking with every update. With peace and love, I am merely the messenger. Bernie started the evening with a 12 percentage point lead. It shrank to 10.8, 6, 5.8, 5.2, 4.8, 4.4. And now Bernie's lead is down to 4.25 by my very quick math. 4.25. The gap also tightening between Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. Warren has already conceded for the evening. Biden has left New Hampshire and is already in South Carolina. Nobody else has a shot. Nobody else has a shot as of right now. Teach Me Guitar says Bernie should do another Simon and Garfunkel ad. There's an idea. Affect says, did you see the news anchor trying to dismiss the Bloomberg recording because Ben Dixon's a Bernie supporter? It was on CNN. I did see it, and it was pathetic. I was texting all day today with Ben about the whole thing. Serial Famine says, Horseman from Manitoba already misses Andrew Yang. All right. Waiting to fade, David Warren just said that she and Klobuchar are the only candidates who aren't billionaires or funded by a super PAC. Yes, I believe she used that line at the last debate, right? If I recall correctly. Let me say thank you to Brian Froh. Brian Froh is new member number 26 of the evening. Really appreciate that, Brian. Join Brian. Be a good person. I don't care your nationality, your religion, your race, your ethnicity, your sports allegiances. Just be a good person and grab a membership at joinpacman.com. The coupon code 2020NOW saves you 66%. And it pushes the blue bar across the screen. We are 52, by my math, 52% of the way there. Let's see what else we have going on, talking to some voters. As there are speeches, we will take the speeches live. Currently, we do not have them. The PBS results are very, very far behind what we have on screen, where we have 42% reporting. And Bernie's lead, it's shrinking again. It just went from 4.25% to now 4.12%. But Pete Buttigieg stretching his lead over Amy Klobuchar, or Klobuchar, as she is known in some circles. If you are just joining us, we do not yet have a declared winner in the New Hampshire primary. We got our first sort of serious results about 50 minutes ago, roughly, and we are continuing to follow. Ike Fan says, I saw Vox at 40. Oh, we just lost super chats. Hold on. I saw Vox at 40%, then went back. Pete was winning. I see Vox currently at 42%. As you can see here, Vox currently at 42%. Nathaniel Brown says, David, I know this is a little off topic, but I think you should speak to an attorney about suing Amy Siskin for defamation and interference with prospective economic advantage or the equivalent in mass. Yeah, okay, it is off topic. We'll deal with that later. Take Dressler says, no question, but we're still waiting for that shirtless Insta pic. Love the show. There are shirtless pictures of me on Instagram. They are just kind of old. The weirdest thing happened. I tend to get like 30 or 40 Instagram followers a day. And yesterday I got 300 and I can't figure out why. I didn't post anything that did particularly well. Over the weekend, I posted a video of me spinning in an office chair, which somehow people went absolutely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over. But I don't know what happened yesterday. Somehow I picked up several hundred Instagram followers. Very weird. But if anybody knows about how I could even figure out what caused that, I welcome the help. Daphne Moon, how can Warren claim that Sanders has super PACs? Well, she's being coy. She's not saying Bernie has a super PAC, but you can't prevent a super PAC from supporting you. And I think that's what she is underhandedly alluding to. Miguel Palacios. Palacios, of course, means palaces in Spanish. Who do you think wins South Carolina? You know, I still think that it's conceivable that Biden wins South Carolina. Let's look at the polling. There's nothing. Oh, actually, we do have new polling. Oh, wait, no, we don't. We do have one new poll in South Carolina, and it has Biden plus 18 at 37 to 19. Do we believe Tom Steyer is in second place in South Carolina? Maybe. He's been spending buku bucks there. So it's certainly conceivable, Okay, let's see where we are with the latest update. The latest update, which gets us to nearly 44% reporting, has Bernie Sanders ahead by 4.16%. 4.16%. Let me say thank you to P. Bauer for the Twitch Prime sub. Blatty Meow has subscribed and says, hi, David. My wife and I can't thank you enough for the exceptional coverage you provide and your dedication to presenting forthright, rational content. I have been a member since the start of the year. Keep up the great content. That's such a nice message. Thank you. I also want to say thanks to Straza, who has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Alexander Eid says Bennett is out too. All right, Andrew Yang out and Bennett out. I still see people in the chat saying somehow Yang is going to win. I assume people are joking at this point. Chris X says Bill Weld has a higher percentage share of the Republican primary than Joe Biden has in the Democratic primary. That is incredible, and it shows how poorly Biden is doing. Caleb Taya says, why is American politics sounding like an America's Got Talent show? Because the president is a reality show host, quite frankly. Oh, do we have is Jimmy from Philly in the chat? It seems that Jimmy from Philly has arrived. Oh, he has, yeah. Psychonaut, LSD user, instead of alcohol consumer, Jimmy from Philly is here. Maybe we'll hear from him later. R.D. Finner says, love Bernie, but he used to support Marxism. What are your thoughts? Not even going to go into that. Cassiano Battaglia, most of MSNBC say bad things about Bernie. Doom from 907 says, yeet the rich. No, actually, I'm sorry. Doom from 907 says nothing. Yeet the Rich says support Bernie by supporting progressive media. Waller is Me says, do you ever watch the YouTube channel Some More News? They put out a great piece on how the media has treated Bernie. I don't. Cody and I follow each other on Twitter, but I don't watch any politics on YouTube. David Adams says, what super PAC is Bernie with? I have no idea. My guess is, we should look into that. I want to know exactly what Elizabeth Warren's alluding to. My guess is when Warren does not include Bernie in the list of people not being supported by super PACs, there may be a super PAC that is supporting Bernie, despite, of course, not being affiliated with him, because he has no super PAC that I know of. Danielle Goldman says, Tulsi is going to win big in Nevada, then win it all. Russia 2020. Okay. Yeah, very, very good. As we are about to crest 50% reporting, I want to say thanks to Angel Abreu, who is new member number 27 tonight. Eric Lipness is new member number 28. Bailey Fry is new member number 29. And Daniel Eichlin is new member number 30. Daniel, thank you so much. I really appreciate everybody's support. And we do have a target of 50 new members. We are 60% of the way there. The coupon code 2020 now will save you 66%. No other speeches happening yet. We have 45% reporting. Bernie growing his lead since the last update back over 5 percentage points. 3.5 points now separate Pete Buttigieg and Amy Klobuchar. I see some people in the chat saying Tulsi is announcing that she is out. I don't know if that's true. I know people notified me if that Yang was out. I don't know if people are kidding that Tulsi is out. Can anybody confirm, or am I just being trolled? Do we know? Unclear. I guess we don't know. Okay, nobody has any idea. Very good. Julie Anderson has subscribed on YouTube. Appreciate that. Dunstable Ramsey says you only listen to people with money like pay-to-play politician. Listen, we've got Twitch Prime subscription messages, super chats, people signing up, video, speeches, whatever. The chat is moving so quickly with nearly 4,000 live viewers. Let me see what the actual chat rate is. There's a message almost every second. It is difficult to pay attention to the chat. Okay, I'm being told that Tulsi is speaking on C-SPAN. Let's see if we can get video of that. Bear with me. Yeah, I'm not finding that right now, but maybe it will be carried shortly. We have video from the Bernie Sanders. Let's take a quick listen.
I want to be president. They're trying to make a calculation. That's very different decision. And so Andrew Yang is this person who is this character, but he hasn't been like someone who could be president.
Let's go now to Rhonda Colvin.
Libby, I'm here with our colleague, Alexandra Petri, who is also attending the Klobuchar party and doing some reporting here. Alexandra, You've been to some of her other events.
It looks like there is not actually any news happening right now, so we will go back to our results. Closing in on 50% reporting. Martin Van Gorp says, keep up the good work. Greetings from Belgium. Love Belgium. Great to hear from you. Tristan McCoppin says, if Trump wins 2020, he will remove term limits by 2024. No, I don't actually think that will happen. Neil Merchant says, hi, David. Love your channel. Been following since it was recommended a couple years ago by my good friend Chantel from Brussels. I hope Chantel's doing well. Speaking of Belgium, thank you for always delivering honest and insightful content. Yeah, Chantel and I have missed each other the last couple times I've been in Europe. She was traveling, and great to hear from you, Neil. Doom from 907 sends another super chat. Daphne Moon says, Tulsi sent out an email saying she's continuing. Okay, very good. We are caught up with super chats. If you have a message, question, or whatever you want up on the screen, you can send it via super chat. It'll show up in the bottom left. Or you can send it with a Twitch sub, and it'll show up at the top. Gilmore Goth says, can't wait for Bernard Sanders to be my president, with a Twitch Prime subscription. Mr. Gonzalez says, brief research shows a pack of nurses, unions, and political activists supports Bernie. There you go. My imagination was, my instinct was Warren wouldn't say it unless it was defensible in some way. Let me welcome and say thank you to Race Piku, who is new member number 31 of the evening, and Jacob Jexmark, who is new member number 32 of the evening. Thank you so much for the support. Our goal is 50 new members. We are at 32. If 18 people can get us to 50, I will open up the phone lines and take phone calls from you fine folks. You can sign up very quickly at joinpacman.com. We are now at 47% reporting, and Bernie's lead is as small as it has been. Bernie's lead with the last update has shrunk to 4.08%. The previous smallest lead for Bernie was 4.2. And with the latest update, Bernie's lead has shrunk even more to 3.65. Bernie's lead as large as 12, and it has shrunk to 3.65. But Pete building his lead over Amy Klobuchar was dilly-dallying with around a 2 to 3 point lead over Amy. Pete now extending his lead over Amy to 4.3. This is a 3-person race. No one else has a shot. Warren is out. Biden literally left the state hours ago and is in 5th place. Tom Steyer and Tulsi, both in the 3 percentage point range. Andrew Yang, with 4,000 votes, has ended his campaign, and that was the right decision. People may not want to hear it, but that was absolutely the correct decision mathematically. Okay. Let me see what other super chats. Oh, the super chat scrolled all the way down. Let me see here. Equals Gaming says, Deepak dropping by to congratulate you on the win in the Raj Royale. Truly a massive victory in the marketplace of ideas. Love your content. Keep it up. Yes, indeed. If you are just joining me, and I welcome the 3,700 of you watching on YouTube, the 830 of you watching on Twitch, and of course, the 90 of you watching on Facebook Live. That's okay. That's okay. I did win the Raj Royale on Saturday. You can find the video on the Raj YouTube channel. When this started, as you can see, I was one of, I believe, 12 different contestants. Over time, I was able to persevere, and the number of people on screen went down and down and down until ultimately it was just Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II, me, and a gentleman who goes by the name Airsoft Fatty. Ultimately, the vote eliminated Destiny, and it was just Airsoft Fatty and myself. This is his handle. I'm not being offensive in any way. And I did ultimately win. Airsoft Fatty, I was introduced to his content, and I do believe that Airsoft Fatty is one of the great entertainers of our time. I truly do. Please check out Airsoft Fatty's YouTube channel. It is amazing. It is amazing. Let's go next to David Adams, who says, my favorite reply to Trump supporters on Twitter is, yeah, good. Okay. I like that too. I like that one too. R. Andrew Oge sends a $10 super chat. Viper X1 says, Washington Post, Yang and Bennett just dropped out. Yes, indeed. Squirrel Dude says Lewis dropped out. Who's Lewis? I don't even know who that is. Green Randy says, I simply cannot be next to cabbage. Gordon Reed says, I am from Ireland. Just 2 questions. What's a caucus? I'll wait for your second question. We did an entire segment on caucuses, or caucus, the plural, last week. So we're not going to do that again. Let me say thanks to Liquid Ice 55 for the Twitch Prime sub, who says, while in town, the baker gives you a sweet roll. Delighted, you take it into an alley to enjoy, only to be intercepted by a gang of 3 kids your age. The leader demands the sweet roll, or else he and his friends will beat you and take it. What do? I would need to know what a sweet roll is to know how much I care about it. Then I could decide. Let me say thank you to Andy Wilcox, who is new member number 33 of the evening at joinpacman.com. I so appreciate everybody who has been signing up at joinpacman.com. Pay full price or use the discount code 2020 now. Either way, your membership fills up this bar, and it is now 2/3 full. It is now, we are just 17 members away. We are now basically at 50% reporting in New Hampshire, and Bernie's lead has been trimmed to 3.45%. If you have been watching from the top of the hour, you may have noticed that I'm just the messenger, folks, okay? Don't beat me up. Almost every time the vote totals are updated, Bernie's lead over Buttigieg shrinks a little bit, okay? It was at 12, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4.8, 4.4, 3.8, etc. And it is now down to 3.45, Bernie's smallest lead of the evening. And we are going to continue monitoring that. Thanks to Lazy Normal Girl for subscribing with Twitch Prime. If you are just joining us on Twitch, please make sure you hit the follow button. It's free. Slam the follow button. If you are just joining us over on YouTube, make sure you hit the like button. It really helps us. Whenever we get 3, 4, 5, 6,000 likes on our streams, it becomes a vicious cycle of more and more people coming in, and then more people liking the stream, and more people coming in, and I think you get the idea. Make sure to both like and subscribe on YouTube. We are now just a few hundred subscribers away from 805,000 on YouTube, which is just incredible. I am being told that Joe Biden will soon be speaking. We will go to that as soon as it happens. Okay, we are waiting for Joe Biden, I am being told. Let's see here. We now have another slight reduction in Bernie's lead to 3.5. 3.5. Maybe I'll keep the results up until someone lets me know in the chat that Biden is speaking. Thanks to Fastboat to Flavortown for giving out 5 subscriptions. I appreciate that. Let's see. Other super chats coming in. Justin Graham says union members for Bernie. Okay. Clayton Watson says tunnel snakes rule. Jackson says, David, I'm going to have to unsubscribe and cancel my membership because you said damn on the Raj Royale podcast. No, I'm kidding. Loved you there. Thank you. I appreciate that. JD Wilder is a YouTube subscriber. Vatnsfjall says, if Biden lost South Carolina, do you think he'll stay in? No. I think South Carolina is increasingly a must win for Joe Biden. Let's see. VR Shide F23 says, Raj has a dating show. Would you go on? It might be great content. I would consider that. Gordon Reed says, have you been to Ireland? Can you put your caucus on Info YouTube? Can you put you caucus on Info YouTube? That almost sounds like someone's hitting on me. Can you put you caucus on Info YouTube? I have been only to Ireland's airport. That's all. Jess Stumbaugh has subscribed on YouTube. Benjamin Castillo, or as we say in Argentina, Castillo, has sent a super chat, which I very, very much appreciate. We're keeping an eye. Supposedly Joe Biden is going to speak. Now, interestingly, he's already in South Carolina. And no, it's not a Boston accent, it's an Argentinian accent. Joe Biden reportedly already in South Carolina, just getting the hell out of New Hampshire. Riley Roseborough says Vermin Supreme just won the New Hampshire Libertarian primary. That's funny. Yeah, I bumped into Vermin last primary in New Hampshire. Pasta Pete says, David, what do you say to people who don't vote? You should. You should. There's no excuse for not voting. Let me say a few other thank yous. Edwin Soriano is new member number 34 at joinpacman.com. Elmer Spratling is new member number 35 at joinpacman.com. Scott Bierman, or Beerman, is new member number 36 at joinpacman.com. Matt Johnson is new member number 37 at joinpacman.com. Keitha Barney is new member number 38 at joinpacman.com. And that gets me caught up. 38 out of 50 new members. We are told Joe Biden will soon be speaking. We are now over 51% reporting, and Bernie's lead is down to 3.48. 3.48 is Bernie's lead, right around 5,200 votes. And now Bernie's lead up to 3.51 with the latest update. Bernie now up 3.51 percentage points. Green Randy says, you and I know that Stoby Face is a powerful force. I wish I knew who that was. Dr. Jude Armstrong says, dating show, don't you have a girlfriend? Oh, yeah, I've seen people with girlfriends do that. I thought it was just a goof, just doing the show. I didn't think it was a real, like you were actually trying to find a date. Nick Swen says, Iowan, last time caucusing, 100% agree with your analysis, like the idea of starting with multiple states at once. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have surpassed 50% reporting. If anybody is currently calling a victory, I would be interested in hearing that. I'm not seeing that anywhere. I'm not seeing it reported. PBS is only at 31% reporting. Our numbers are at more than 50% reporting already. We heard that Joe Biden was reportedly going to be speaking soon, and it has not happened yet, but we are standing by. Let's see if there is anybody else who might be calling it one way or the other. No, I'm not seeing any calls so far, and it is very, very close. I do see a message, Yang suspending campaign, Reddit on suicide watch. Yes, we already talked about Yang suspending the campaign. We are keeping an eye on that for sure. No question about it. I wish I knew exactly when it was that Joe Biden was scheduled to speak. I guess you never really know. He's going to be joining his own event via television. Biden's not at his own event. I guess they sent his sister. I don't know. But in any case, we are, I guess, waiting to hear from Joe Biden. The vote total, yes, people are talking about the vote total. Bernie Sanders is leading Pete by my count, it looks like 5,214. Is it 5214? Can somebody double check my math? 5214. 3 minus 9, 4. 3 carry the 2. 11 carry the 3. 6, 4. Raised to the 7th power. Sine cosine. I'm seeing 5214 as the margin right now for Bernie Sanders. 5214. Okay, people confirming. Thank you very much. The percentage lead is 3.38 now, continuing to just shrink. And again, I have no idea whether we are expecting later on to see results. Let me see if I can find the okay, let's refresh this and take a look. When we look at areas still to come, so if you look at Bernie's areas, Pete's, they're actually pretty damn similar areas. It seems to be just the larger counties, basically. And we look at where we are still waiting for votes. Bernie and Pete. Bernie. See, it looks like a lot of the state is simply proportionately going to Bernie, with the exception of Rockingham County, where Pete has a small margin. All the counties are by similar proportions going to Bernie. That's very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on the numbers and see what happens there. The lead now shrinking, by the way, into the twos. Bernie's lead now still in terms of gross numbers. Actually, the gross lead has shrunk now to 4,221 or something like that. But the percentage point lead for Bernie is now down to only 2.7, roughly. 2.7 point lead for Bernie. Let's see here. Squirrel Dude says, I'm a college student. Do you have any political science history course suggestions at UMass Amherst? You know, I was in the econ and communication departments at UMass Amherst. I didn't take a single poli-sci class. And for history, what did I just don't remember. I unfortunately do not have any suggestions for you. Let me welcome the Prosecco Papa on Twitch with the Twitch Prime sub saying, hi, Dad, love your show. Thanks, son, appreciate it. Let me say thank you to Patrick Tusher. Patrick Tusher is new member number 39 at joinpacman.com. Thank you so much, Patrick. I appreciate that. We are just 11 members away from hitting our goal, as we are at 53% reporting, with Bernie Sanders holding an increasingly small lead over Pete Buttigieg. Now, and bumping it back up a little bit now to 326. 326. Joe Biden, embarrassingly bad. I mean, there's just no other way to put it. I don't believe Joe Biden is going to drop out anytime soon. But if Joe Biden can't get a win in South Carolina, I think it starts looking very, very ugly for Uncle Joe. Keanu Fabiana says, can we trust the Electoral College to vote Bernie in? No. In fact, the Electoral College has been a huge boon to Republicans. Remember that. There are multiple presidential elections where, were it not for the Electoral College, we would have had a Democratic president check out my interview, by the way, today with Tom Hartman, where he explains how, were it not for voter suppression, we would also have had more Democratic presidents. We are maybe waiting for someone to speak. Now I'm doubting whether Joe Biden is really close to speaking, but we will see. Bernie Sanders boosting his lead, now closing in again on a 4 percentage point lead, and it's tightening up a little bit. Pete had built a 5-point lead over Amy Klobuchar. Now only about a 3.2 percentage point lead. Scott B says, hold on a second. Buttigieg went up 600 on one update, Bernie 0. Okay. RJ Williamson says, even if half of Steyer, Gabbard, Yang, Warren votes went to Bernie, if even half, he'd have a huge lead. Progressives need to consolidate this vote ASAP. Yes. Dinosaur Rainbow Pancakes says, is the DNC going to sabotage Bernie versus Trump? We'll deal with that if and when we get to it. It's Me, John B says, what's a dog-faced pony soldier? I wish I knew. I have no idea. Let me say thank you to Dankathor for subscribing with Twitch Prime. If you're just joining us on YouTube, I have a tiny, tiny ask for you. Please hit the like button. We're trying to get to 3,000 likes. And please hit the subscribe button. Both of these things are completely free. I mean, literally, they cost nothing. Just start pounding the like and subscribe buttons because these things are free and they really do support our show. Bernie Sanders now with a 4 percentage point lead and a 6,300 vote lead. Mathematically, the door is closing for Pete Buttigieg. Okay? Remember, this is not winner take all. Much like I said before the Iowa caucus, this is going to be, it's going to be close in terms of the number of delegates. Reminding you, of course, that, where do I have it? The delegate counts from Iowa. Now, what is this including? The numbers now went up, actually. I wonder what they're including now at this point. Are they including anything from New Hampshire? They are starting to add New Hampshire delegates, interestingly enough. But as you can see here, Bernie and Pete, with the numbers we have right now, no matter who wins, they are going to end up with a very similar number of delegates. This is going to be a fight. Only after Super Tuesday are we really going to learn more about the sort of shape of the race longer term. Mitch Visage says, David, what percentage of voter turnout is needed to ensure a valid result in the general election? Or do you think Trump will denounce all but a win? If Trump loses by a small margin, he'll say he really won. If he loses by a big margin, he'll say that's an unrealistically large margin. I think that it was rigged. So I believe either way, Trump is going to question the results. Listen, Trump won in 2016 and he still questions the results. Just imagine what the guy will do if he loses. Okay. We are continuing to be told that Biden is close to speaking. When he does, we will put it up on the screen. The vote continuing to fluctuate between a 2.5 and 4 point lead for Bernie Sanders in New Hampshire. Mike K says, do you think it would help or hurt Bernie if he plays up the conspiracy of Iowa being rigged and blame the DNC for trying to screw him over? Bernie has gained support on issues and policy. So if I were him, I would stick to that instead of talking about admittedly valid complaints. Patricker22 says, how much does a Twitch subscription pay you? I'm a subscriber already, and I have Twitch Prime and don't use it. We're not allowed to say that, actually, because of the Twitch terms of service. It's crazy, but it's free to you and we get paid. That's the important thing. Dutch Morgan says, in the Chuck Todd incident today, where he referred to Bernie Bros as an online mob, do you think Bernie Bros demanding he be fired to prove his point? I think it was yesterday. It seems that, what Chuck Todd was wrong. Demanding he be fired, it seems like a little bit much for me. Seems like a little bit much for me. Ghost Reaper says, I liked, but I'm already subscribed. Sorry. Apology accepted. That's okay. Jess Stumbaugh has upgraded their membership to beta. Thanks, Jess. John McLean says, Rockingham switched from Pete to Amy. Bernie is 2. Interesting. Jess Stumbaugh has upgraded her membership again to Alpha. John Henley says, David, with Joe Biden tanking at every turn, what will happen to corn pop? I wish I knew. I wish I knew. It is a big, big question. People asking about opening up the phone lines. I will open the phone lines at 50 members. We are only 11 members away. You can sign up at joinpacman.com. The coupon code is 2020NOW to save 40%. Let's see if they are talking about Joe Biden speaking soon.
Of Michael Bloom.
Oh dear, everything going wrong here. See what's going on at Bernie HQ.
Hey, we're here back in the studio in DC, and we have a really great set of updates for you. So we're running at about 51% reporting, which is really interesting, and it means that some of these patterns that we were seeing early in the night are starting to become a lot clearer.
Fascinating
So let's
numbers.
talk about some of those patterns and set up the stage for you. We've got Bernie Sanders in the purple, we've got Pete Buttigieg in green, Amy Klobuchar in indigo, and Elizabeth Warren in orange. Now, what we're seeing tonight is that Bernie Sanders has 27 and a little bit percent of the vote. We've got Pete Buttigieg with about 23.5. We've got Amy Klobuchar a little under 20%, and we have Elizabeth Warren in a distant fourth at right around 10%. These numbers have not changed too much since the last time we talked.
Okay, I think we all mostly understand this. Okay, they're talking about Jussie Smollett over on PBS. So we'll keep standing by for speeches. We now have nearly 60% reporting, and Bernie's lead is now 2.7. 2.7 is Bernie's lead. The raw vote lead is about 4,500 for Bernie Sanders. Let's see. John Henley says, oh no, we already did that one. Ryan Olding says, Yang Gang 2020, he's about to take the lead. Val McClinchy asks, David, when I move, will I still be Val from Agawam? Depends where you move to, Val. If it's a cooler place, then maybe you'll be Val from that place. Damon Wells says, Chuck Todd didn't just call Bernie supporters an online mob. He compared them to Nazis. Yeah, didn't he say brown shirts from what I saw? Zendicrus says, will Warren's low numbers renew Bernie or bust? I think that those are two totally different questions. Mario Madrigal says, any more thought about the country tour? Love you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I could realistically do a national tour until after the election. It's just too much to organize, I think. Let me say thank you to, oh, I love this name. New member number 40 of the evening is Callistus Taiwang Jr. Callistus Tiwayang Jr. I hope I'm pronouncing any of those names correctly. Very much appreciate the support. Let's see here. Matthias Chorvat is a new YouTube member. Farm Dad Word Barf says, subbed on the website today. I voicemailed a question. What conservative counterpart would you recommend I support? David Pakman Show on the left and who on the right? No way am I taking the bait on that one, my friend. And I want to thank Anthony Ferrucci for signing up on YouTube, and Didier Mejia for signing up on YouTube as well. We are now at 58.5% reporting. Bernie's lead is 2.75% and just under 5,000 votes. And it is remaining tight. Bernie was able to pull it up to about 4%, and it is now at about 2.75. Very, very tight. They're talking about Shabalala on PBS NewsHour. So I think we're going to stick over here. Is this even live? Yeah, it is live. Okay. It looks like the Washington Post is giving us more updated information. Very, very interesting. Okay. Name withheld says that Biden is in a strong fifth. Yes, he's definitely like he's there's no chance Biden falls into sixth place, and that's something he can be happy about for sure. Colby Moores sent a super chat but then retracted it. We are aware that Andrew Yang has dropped out of the race. If you are just joining us, we have nearly 60% of the vote in New Hampshire reporting. We have already heard a strange sort of concession type speech from Warren where she seemed to be conceding the entire election, like the national election, but yet she says she's going to continue. It was weird. Andrew Yang has dropped out. Let me see if I can get my earpiece cable is doing something very, very weird. Yang is out. I believe Tulsi should end her campaign, but she announced that she is staying in. Tom Steyer is running in second place in South Carolina. He is likely to pick up delegates there. So he probably has actual, he actually has a case for staying in at this point in time. And Michael Bennett has also decided to end his campaign. Let's see here. Other questions coming in. We are still waiting for speeches. Let's listen to a couple of these supporters that are being interviewed.
Up with nearly no national recognition, and now today we're in second place in New Hampshire and we won Iowa. It's very fulfilling to see where we've come and very energized to see where we go. Here and around the area, a lot of people have been as we're seeing right now, a lot of people are down between Pete and Bernie, kind of like the more progressive and more moderate approaches, and people are starting to see their favorites. And I think it's going to be exciting to see where tonight ends up, going from Iowa to here.
Okay. Well, thanks, Nick. Former Vice President Joe Biden is about to speak right now, so we're going to go to him.
Let's go to that. Very good. We'll take that speech.
You guys. I've been coming here a long time. When I die, I want to be reborn in Charleston, actually.
So he's in South Carolina. He's not in New Hampshire.
I like the low country, you know what I mean?
And his audio level is very, very low.
Look, I hope, thank you. Please sit down if you have
Everything's maxed. I apologize.
Thank you.
I can't go any louder.
I'm Jill Biden's husband, and I work for Cedric Richmond. And David Mack is taking me to school. Well, look, I know some of the other senators came over. They came up to see me. They're in session right now, and I thank them for making the effort. There's so many people here for me to say thank you. So I just spoke to folks up in New Hampshire, and they did a good job. But I want to tell you, the people of Nevada are watching, and I want to make it clear we praise their diversity as a state, and I'm going to be out there seeing them very soon. Tonight, though, we just heard from the first two of 50 states, two of them. Not the nation, not half the nation, not a quarter of the nation, not 10%, two. Now, where I come from, that's the opening bell, not the closing bell. And the fight to end Donald Trump's presidency is just beginning.
I don't know how big of a part he'll be of that fight, but okay.
Thank you. It is important that Iowa and Nevada have spoken, but look, we need to hear from Nevada and South Carolina and Super Tuesday states and beyond. And look, we're moving in an especially important phase, because up till now, we haven't heard from the most committed constituency of the Democratic Party, the African American community.
Huh, okay.
And
interesting approach.
And the fastest growing segment of society, the Latino community. I want you all to think of a number, 99.9%. That's the percentage of African American voters who have not yet had a chance to vote in America. One more number. 99.8. That's the percent of Latino voters who haven't had a chance to vote. So when you hear all these pundits and experts, cable TV talkers talk about the race, tell them, it ain't over, man. We're just getting started.
All right. We'll see.
Our votes count too. We're not going to let anyone take this election away from you. Look, I've said many times, you can't be the Democratic nominee and you can't win a general election as Democrat unless you have overwhelming support from black and brown voters. It's just really simple. No, it's a natural fact. It's true. It's absolutely true. And folks, you know, all those Democrats who won against incumbents, from Jimmy Carter to a guy named Clinton, to a guy named Obama, my good friend, guess what? They had overwhelming African-American support. Without it, nobody's ever won. No, really. And you all know you own my heart. Look, more important, should you not win the Democratic nomination for president, you shouldn't be able to win it without black and brown voters. Too often, your loyalty, your support, your commitment to this party have been taken for granted. I have never once in my career since I got involved as a kid taken it for granted. And I give you my word as a Biden, I never, ever, ever will. Now, if you want to know what any other candidates are going to do in the future. The tendency is to look at the past. Well, I left the law firm when I was a kid with a great job in a fancy law firm and to become a public defender, to fight for the people in the community I used to work in the East Side, because they couldn't afford a lawyer. On the county council, I fought against redlining. In the U.S. Senate, I passed the extension of the Voting Rights Act for 2 decades, the Violence Against Women Act. And by the way, I had the back of a great president named Barack Obama for 8 years. And by the way, we increased access to capital for African-American entrepreneurs. Let's get something straight. Given a chance, they do just as well as anybody else, and quite frankly, better, and they build neighborhoods. They build all communities. Barack and I were able to reduce the federal population, and speaking HBCUs, I got $70 billion coming to HBCUs. Not a joke. And minority universities. Look, we saved the automobile industry, passed Obamacare. We stopped insurance companies from discriminating against people with pre-existing conditions. And on top of all of that, we built an economy that Trump is bragging about. Oh, this guy squandered his father's fortune. Now he's squandering the economy we gave him. They all think I'm kidding. I'm not. So, Mr. President, instead of talking about impeaching Barack Obama, you should be saying, thank you, President Obama. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But folks, look, we have so much more to do. I promise you, as your president, you will be partners at shaping the policy to make sure every single American has an opportunity. The thing that I've never liked, and I was
Quick water
chairman of the
refill, I'll be
Judiciary
back.
Committee for years, I don't know what you need best. I listen. You all, the leaders of the black community, know what you need best. We don't listen enough. We take for granted. You know what you need. You know what your families need. And I've never not listened to you. First, we need to defend and build on Obamacare. Trump wants to get rid of it. Even some of the folks in my own outfit in the primary want to take it away. But I'll never let that happen. Folks, I was proud to serve as President Obama's vice president for 8 years with the honor of my life. And he's become a close personal friend. The whole family has been. Matter of fact, our granddaughters and his daughters are best buddies. They went to school together for 12 years in the same small class. Well, actually 10 years. But they're still hanging out with one another, even though they go to different schools. Where are you? I'm up at Michigan State. I'm up at the University of Michigan. What are you doing there? I came up to see my, Anyway, all I know is I get to pay for the plane ticket. Anyway. But I was never prouder than the day that we passed Obamacare. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to expand on it. We're going to eliminate, we're going to get rid of all the executive orders that had curtailed it. We're going to increase funding into research for finding cures. Too many of our families are dealing with cancer, diabetes, African Americans, maternal health disparities. Look at them. In the United States of America, today, there's an incredible disparity. It's sinful. It's sinful. It's an indictment of the entire system. And by the way, you all know education is a great equalizer. We need to treat it that way. Every child has the same capacity when they're born. Every one of them have the same capacity. Every child deserves a great education, no matter what your zip code or your income level. And I put my money where our mouth is. We're going to triple Title I funding to give our teachers the pay raise they need. Make sure every three. By the way, we're losing. We already are 115,000 teachers short. By 2025, you're going to be 250,000 short. And who's going to get shortchanged? The people that you darn right they are. And look, we're going to give every teacher a pay raise. And then to do that, we're going to continue the criminal justice reform that President Obama and I started. We're going to end all private prisons. And no more jail time for addiction. You go into mandatory treatment. Build more treatment facilities, not prison systems. And make sure marijuana convictions, their entire record is expunged. So when asked by a job application, have you ever been arrested? You'll be able to say legally, no, I have not. Folks, let's think about this. There's so much. And by the way, All these states that are out there legalizing marijuana and legalizing medical use of it. We should take a big chunk of those profits and put them into prison reform and treatment. Treatment, treatment, treatment. Look, and just as important, we have to be a country of second chances, for God's sake. No, think about it. We all talk about second chances. What do? Someone gets out of prison or gets out of a tough spot, and we say, you're denied all the things that can help you. From returning to your communities, we're going to give you $25 and a bus ticket. You end up under a bridge.
I've got to say a big thank you to Airsoft Fatty for raiding with a party of 158 9 minutes ago. Apologies for only noticing it right now. Airsoft Fatty, one of the great entertainers of our time. Very, very impressed with him. Let's keep listening to Joe Biden. We will look at the results as we listen to Uncle Joe.
We should be teaching them skills. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to keep it a penal system. Look, we're a great country and we have great people. We have the greatest workers in the world. But you should be paid like we're the greatest workers in the world. The background I come from, not dissimilar, except he's in Louisiana, I was in Pennsylvania, in Scranton. We have too many families working their tails off just to make ends meet. Too many people I know did what my dad did, and you know him now, here in South Carolina, who made what I call that longest walk up a short flight of stairs to tell their son or daughters, honey, sorry, we can't live here anymore. Daddy, mommy doesn't have a job. You're going to go home and live with grandpa for a while, but I'm going to make it. We're going to be able to do it. And I'll come back, and I'll make sure when I'm able to get a place, we'll bring you all together again. People having trouble keeping the roofs over their heads. When my dad walked up those stairs, I remember it's 2446 North Washington Avenue. I'm doing it in Scranton. I was in 3rd grade. And he looked at me and he said, I promise you it's going to be all right. He believed it was. He believed it. And he was right, because then if you took a shot, you got a chance. You're able to do it. Today, think of all the people who can't look at their kids and say, we're going to be able to do it, because the deck is stacked the way it is today. I mean, it really genuinely is. We have we have over 50% of all the people who are working class or middle class think their children will never achieve the same standing they had. What a god-awful just makes me mad. Look, we're going to invest in our families and our communities. We're going to invest in roads and bridges, broadband, water systems, school buildings, rural infrastructure.
Do people want to hear this, or do you want me to go away from it, or at least mute it and
20,
take your
30
question?
plan to get finally to those areas that were been left behind, the bulk of what needs to be done. And by the way, I make no apology to anybody for it. It's in the interest of everybody. The wealthy, the semi-wealthy, the middle class, the working class, that everybody does better. When they do, everything works for everybody. Everything. We got to make sure black and brown families and businesses have the same shot to accumulate wealth. Look,
all right, I
folks,
think we get the gist. We'll leave it on because Amy Klobuchar may be speaking soon. Let's take another quick look at the numbers. We are now at 65% reporting. With 65% reporting, Bernie Sanders with about a 4,600 vote lead over Pete Buttigieg. That works out at this point in time to about 2.45 percentage points. It is tight, but it will soon become mathematically likely that Bernie Sanders will be the winner. Likely they will each come away with the same number of delegates because of the proportional allocation of delegates. Let me say thank you to a few other new members. I want to say thanks to Ryan Oglesby. Ryan Oglesby is new member number 41 at joinpacman.com. And Jonathan Barker is new member number 42 at joinpacman.com. We are only 8 new members away from our goal of 50 new members. If you are just joining us, we are following the results where nearly 2/3 of the vote has now been counted. Bernie Sanders is in the lead. Amy Klobuchar now coming out to speak. We will, we will listen to Amy. A couple of other super chats. Wayne Kerr says, join a union. Anyone can join one. There's no excuse not to. Join the IWW if you're more dedicated. John H. says, is a Warren dropout better for Pete or Bernie? I think it's better for Pete. Let's listen to Amy Klobuchar, the biggest overperformer of the day.
Hampshire, we love you, New Hampshire.
Right.
Hello, America. I'm Amy Klobuchar, and I will beat Donald Trump.
Wow.
My heart is full tonight. My heart is full tonight. While there are still ballots left to count, we have beaten the odds every step of the way. We have done it on the merits, we have done it with ideas, and we have done it with hard work. Because we are resilient and strong as the people of this great nation. Thank you to our incredible staff and our unstoppable volunteers, my wonderful husband, John, our daughter, Abigail, and the people of New Hampshire. Because of you, we are taking this campaign to Nevada. We are going to South Carolina. And we are taking this message of unity to the country. Because we know in our hearts that in a democracy, it is not about the loudest voice or the biggest bank account. It is about the best idea and about the person who can turn those ideas into action. We know that we cannot win big by trying to outdivide the divider-in-chief.
Another unity message.
We know that we win by bringing people with us instead of shutting them out. Donald Trump's worst nightmare is that the people in the middle, the people who have had enough of the name calling and the mudslinging, have someone to vote for in November.
Okay.
I cannot wait to bring our green bus around the country. I cannot wait to win the nomination. I cannot wait to build a movement and win with a movement of fired up Democrats, of independents and moderate Republicans that see this election as we do. We see it as an economic check on this president. We see it as a patriotism check, and we see it as a decency check. Because in the end, we know that what unites us is so much bigger than what divides us. And we know that we believe, so many of us believe, that the heart of America is bigger than the heart of this guy in the White House.
Right.
Tonight is about grit. And my story, like so many of yours, is one of resilience. I announced my candidacy in the middle of a Minnesota blizzard. And there were a lot of people that predicted I wouldn't even get through that speech. But not the people of my state and not the people of New Hampshire.
Okay.
Except then they predicted that we wouldn't make it through the summer. We did. Then they predicted we wouldn't make it to the debates. And man, were we at the debate in New Hampshire. What we've been is steady, we've been strong, and we've never quit. I think that sounds pretty good for a president. But across the months and months and miles of this race, we redefined the word grit. You see it with our Happy Scrappy campaign. You saw it in our 10-county, 30-hour tour in the middle of a nor'easter. Let's not forget that.
A lot of the stories relate to
You saw it in our
snow.
early morning diner stops, on our late night rallies, and yes, you saw it on that debate stage. Just like so many of you out there, I know a little bit about resilience. My grandpa worked 1,500 feet underground in the mines in northern Minnesota. He never graduated from high school because his parents were sick. He had 9 brothers and sisters, and he had to help raise them. And every day he would go down in that cage in that mine carrying a lunch bucket that my grandma would pack. His youngest sister, Hannah, was only 8 years old when they put her in an orphanage, and he vowed after his parents died that he would go and get her. And 2 years later, he borrowed a car, he went to Duluth, and he brought her home. He and my grandma saved money in a coffee can in their basement.
While she does the coffee can story we've all heard 100 times, I just want to point this out. Bernie's lead over Pete is the smallest it has been all night now at 2.17%. 2.17% is the closest they have been. Important, of course, to understand that this becomes more and more insurmountable the more votes are counted, because the fewer votes left to count, the more difficult it is to overcome what is now about a 4,300 vote deficit for Pete Buttigieg. But percentage-wise, this is the closest that it has been all night. Let's go back to Amy Klobuchar.
First woman elected to the U.S. Senate from the state of Minnesota, and a candidate for president of the United States.
Passion.
That, my friends, that is because we live in a country of shared dreams. That no matter where you come from, no matter who you know, no matter the color of your skin, no matter where you worship, no matter who you love, that you can make it in the United States of America.
Right.
I didn't have a perfect life. My dad struggled with alcoholism his whole life, and by the time John and I got married, he got his 3rd DWI. And then the judge said to him, you got to decide jail or treatment. And he chose treatment. And in his words, he was pursued by grace. I believe that everyone in this country should have that opportunity to be pursued by grace. When Abigail was born, we thought it was going to be this perfect thing, but she was really sick, and she couldn't swallow. And she was in intensive care. And back then, the insurance companies had a rule, and they kicked me out of the hospital, even though she was in intensive care, in 24 hours. And a few months later, I went to the legislature, worked with a number of legislators, and we passed one of the first laws in the country guaranteeing new moms and their babies a 48-hour hospital stay. That's how I do my work. And as my friend Elizabeth noted earlier tonight, people told me, just like they told her, that they didn't think a woman could be elected. In my case, it was elected to the U.S. Senate. No woman had ever done it before. But I came back, I defied expectations, and I won. And I have done it. And I have done it over and over again in the reddest of red districts and the bluest of blue districts. And when I got to the U.S. Senate, people told me, oh, it's so hard to get things done. Well, in that gridlock of Washington, D.C., I have passed over 100 bills as the lead Democrat because I did not give up. And tonight in New Hampshire, as everyone had counted us out, even a week ago, thank you, pundits. I came back and we delivered.
3rd place, but still very much overperforming.
We have been on quite a journey together, and you've learned this about me. I never give up. But my story is nothing compared to the resilience that I've seen all over this country. The mom in California, who lost her child to gun violence. And even through her grief and heartbreak, she has joined the fight to keep our children safe. The immigrant who works 2 jobs and still struggles to put food on the table, but is determined to raise her kids in America so that they have a better future. The farmer who's facing bankruptcy because of bad Trump policies, but persists in working the land, just like his parents and his grandparents before him. America deserves a president who doesn't give up or give in just because a decision is hard. America deserves a president who is as resilient as her people. America deserves a president who's going to take on the challenges of our time: climate change and affordable education and college, immigration reform, justice and democracy, and yes, bringing down the cost of health care. Our country cannot take another 4 years of Donald Trump. The rule of law can't withstand another 4 years of a president who thinks that he is above it. Our collective sense of decency can't handle another 4 years of a president who doesn't care about it. Our democracy can't tolerate another 4 years of a president who wants to bulldoze right through it. And our American dream cannot tolerate a president that thinks he can choose who lives it. The president might as well have a sign on his desk that says, "The buck stops anywhere but here." He blames everyone. He blames, think about this, for anything that goes wrong. He blames Barack Obama. He blames the city of Baltimore. He blames the head of the Federal Reserve that he appointed. He blames the energy secretary that he nominated. He blames the city of Baltimore. He blames the entire kingdom of Denmark. Who does that? And my favorite recent one, he blames the Prime Minister of Canada for cutting him out of the Canadian version of Home Alone 2. That's what this guy does. That is Donald Trump. I think we can do better, because for the people of this country, when things go wrong, they don't have anyone to blame. They just have to pick themselves up. And I can promise you this: when I am behind that desk, I will take responsibility instead of passing it on. I will reach across the aisle and work with Americans in good faith instead of picking fights. I will bring this country together instead of tearing it apart. Some of you have heard the story about Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So he was beloved, and when he died, they put his body on a train, and it went through the countryside to Washington, D.C. And people would spontaneously stand next to those rail tracks to show their respects. And the story goes that one guy was standing there sobbing. Regular guy, had his hat across his chest. And this reporter says to him, "Sir, did you know President Roosevelt? Do you mind me asking, did you know him?" And the guy says, "No, I didn't know President Roosevelt, but he knew me. He knew me." That is what's lacking right now in the White House. That empathy, that ability of a president to put himself or herself in the shoes of the people of this country. What is lacking is that sacred trust between the people of this nation and the President of the United States. And my friends, I will restore that trust. If you are having trouble, if you are having trouble deciding between filling a prescription or filling your refrigerator with food, I know you, and I will fight for you. If you cannot decide how you're going to stretch that paycheck to pay for your rent or pay your mortgage, I know you, and I will fight for you.
Right.
And if you are having trouble deciding how you're going to pay for the child care for your kids and the long-term care for your parents, I know you, and I will fight for you. If you want...
I would rap if I were her.
If you want a Democratic nominee who can make our tent bigger, who can make our coalition wider and our coattails longer, I know you, and I will fight for you. And if you feel stuck in the extremes of our politics and you are tired of the noise and the nonsense, you have a home with me. If you want a nominee who can stand up to Donald Trump on that debate stage, which you well know I can do, I need your votes, yes. And I'm going to need those votes of the people in Nevada, yes. And I'm going to need the votes in South Carolina and beyond. But most of all, I need your hearts. I don't have that big bank account. I don't have that big name as some of the other people that are in this race. And I am not a newcomer with no political record. But what I do is get things done. What I have is your back. So I ask you to join us at amyklobuchar.com. Join our campaign. Join our campaign. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, New Hampshire. We are on to Nevada because the best is yet to come.
Okay.
Now, I want to thank a few people before we start the music.
Oh,
and
yeah, see, I'd
everything,
rap soon.
who have been here with me in New Hampshire from the very beginning. And I am so proud to have their help and support. It has meant the world. First of all, my great state director, Scott Merrick, right over here. And my campaign manager and our team, Justin Bowen.
Uh-oh. Audio going.
So we've just heard from Senator Klobuchar, who is giving somewhat of a victory speech. This room is electric right now. I've covered several election watch parties, and I can tell you this one has a lot of enthusiasm. The people here really are supportive of this candidate, and perhaps surprised because she was not supposed to make it this far. In fact, one of the key words she kept saying in this speech right now is resilience, that she had resilience.
All right, so while this has been going on, Bernie Sanders' lead has actually dropped below 2% for the first time in the evening, now leading Pete Buttigieg by only 1.95. So we're watching that. 71% of the vote is in. The lead has also gone below 4,000 votes and now going even a little further beyond 4,000 to about 3,900 or so. The lead now 1.94, dropping just another hair. So it continues to tighten. The question is, will Bernie's lead keep going at the point at which Pete Buttigieg runs out of votes with which he could make up that gap? So we are going to keep watching that very, very closely. If you're just joining us, we have been following the results. We have seen Elizabeth Warren give a speech. We have seen Joe Biden give a speech. We have heard a great part from Amy Klobuchar here. And soon, I mean, maybe by 10:15 or 10:30, we should have a clearer mathematical sense of whether there are enough votes left, so to speak, to make up this difference. If we have 200,000 votes right now with 71% reporting, at a certain point, if the lead doesn't get smaller, it will just become very unlikely that Pete Buttigieg would be able to take over that lead from Bernie Sanders. But we are going to keep watching. Welcome. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure to follow my Twitch channel. I want to say thanks to Wax Matches for the Prime sub with the message, "She's so boring." Dem Zero Cool says, David, why does CNN seem more critical of Bernie, even a little anti-Bernie? Like with the question about him being sexist at the debate. Yes, I mean, listen, these corporate channels are establishment. MSNBC, CNN. Fox News will sometimes throw Bernie a bone to be contrarian because it's a right-wing network, but they are for maintaining the status quo, essentially. If you're just joining us on YouTube, please make sure to hit the like button. We are just a hair away from 3,000 likes on the stream. The likes really help the stream. And I also am asking you, with peace and love and total humility, to hit the subscribe button. There's nearly 4,000 of you here, and we are just about 375 subscribers away from 805,000. So please do hit that like button and then smash that subscribe button. Let me say thank you to a couple of people. Anthony Licata is new member number 43 of the evening. Tracy Curry is new member number 44. Tracy Curry actually signing up twice. I guess we'll count it twice. She is now new member number 45 as well. Johnny Stowaway is new member number 46. Lindsay Craig is new member number 47. Thank you so much. We are 3 new members away from our goal of 50. Let's get caught up on some super chats. A quick update. The lead again shrinking just a bit for Bernie Sanders, now down to 1.9. Wait, what is this? This is 1.9. Buttigieg. 1.92 or 1.93 or so. So this is as small as the lead has been for the entire evening. Mr. Appby says, why do corporate Democrats bash Trump so much publicly and claim to want to beat him, yet when in reality they have the same agenda to benefit the rich and wealthy? End goal is the same. Why fight? They fight for their party. That's it, quite simply. Name withheld says pony soldier since 1942. Sam here says, any funny business from the DNC again? Just got on. Nothing in particular tonight. I mean, the lead's been tightening for Bernie as more and more votes have been counted. Trent Tanner says Trump has the same take as you do on Warren's speech. Check out his Twitter. All right, let's check out Donald Trump's Twitter real quick. This was polling. Let's see what Donald Trump has tweeted. Let's see here. A lot of nonsense. Elizabeth Warren, sometimes referred to as Pocahontas, is having a really bad night. I think she is sending signals that she wants out. Calling for unity is her way of getting there, going home and having an ice cold beer with her husband. I actually agree with this. Let's do a retweet. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay. That's why my settings aren't. Yeah. Okay. Very good. Well, I guess we can't do that. Okay. That was Trump's take, and it is similar to mine for sure. Bernie's lead growing a little bit to 2.04. The lead stretching to 4,200 votes. Again, we are getting to the point where this will become an insurmountable lead for Bernie Sanders, but very likely they will come away from New Hampshire with the same number of delegates. Let's see. Obviously, I don't agree. By the way, okay, let me clarify. I don't agree with Donald Trump referring to her as Pocahontas, obviously. I do believe that calling for unity and her entire speech were a signal that she is sort of conceding the entire thing. That is the impression that I get. I don't agree with the horribly racist nickname of her, Pocahontas, to be completely and totally clear. Kimberly Gonaga sends a super chat. Serial Famine says, you and Destiny, Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bonnell II, are my favorite commentators in 2020. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. What's up, my homies, says Man's Meat. Whoops, hold on a second. Men's Meat 2020. Okay. Sheev Palpatine says, is Joe Biden suffering from cognitive decline? A firm maybe. Waller is me asks, do you think Klobuchar's strength is poking holes in other candidates' positions? She seems to me to not stand alone well. Does that make sense? Yeah, I agree. She's had some good moments in debates, but when you just see her speak by herself, she doesn't, to me at least, inspire very much of anything. Dustin DPS asks, are we heading for a contested convention? Too early to tell. I think we'll have a better sense of that after March 3rd, Super Tuesday. Mike K. Biden gaffe. He said men's meat, not ends meet. Oh, I didn't notice that. Joseph Vanskoy says, Oh, something very weird just happened, actually. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, there we go. Okay, some of my it just looked for a second like we completely lost the entire stream. I am very, very glad that we did not. That would have been very scary. I thought for a second that we did lose the stream. Can you imagine if we lost the stream at a critical moment in this evening? Joseph Vanskoy says, I guess the groundhog saw its shadow. 4 more months of Klobuchar. She is going to be around for a bit for sure. Gregory Shavers Jr. says, let's get some phone calls, David. Open the lines. We'll see. We may do that. X says, David, listening to Amy is becoming torturous. I apologize. I didn't mean to torture anybody. Sky RWBY says, she has the charisma of a black hole. It takes the life right out of you. Chris Carbajal says, if Yang dropped out, yes, where do you think vote go? Yang dropped out today, and his vote is very small. I don't think it'll make a huge difference. Skybuck says, you on the Raj Royale was amazing. Please do it again. I had a great time. And if you did not see it, make sure to check me out on the Raj Royale. This was from Saturday. We started with 12. We whittled down to just two opponents. It was me against Airsoft Fatty. That's the name of this gentleman at the bottom here. And I think he's just great. I think he is genuinely one of the greatest contemporary entertainers in the United States. And I encourage you to check out his channel and check out everything that he has going on. It was really a great time. We are now at 73, almost 74% reporting. And again, the Bernie lead is shrinking in terms of percentage. It is down to 1.89, as small as it has been all night. And it is almost exactly a 4,000 vote margin for Bernie. Now, even if percentage-wise the lead keeps shrinking, if it remains at 4,000 votes, it will soon be difficult for Pete to overtake it. I think if we get to 80 or 85% reporting and the margin is still 4,000, it's, unless there is a very lopsided vote still to come in, it's going to be difficult to overtake that. 1.97% lead now with the latest update, and the lead pushing up to about 4,200 votes. So we are continuing to track that. Let me say thank you to Philip Hecht, who is new member number 48 of the evening. Our goal tonight is 50 members. I believe that we can do it. We are only 2 away, and the coupon code 2020 now will save you 66%, believe it or not. Let's see here. David Adams asks, did you see Trump's glitch at his New Hampshire rally? I did not. Walter Newberry says, why isn't Bernie trending anywhere? Check Twitter. I don't know. I don't know much about that. I'm not sure. Max says, more David plus Destiny content, please. I may be doing things with Destiny upcoming. We are keeping an eye. This is video from the Bernie Sanders campaign HQ or event location. This is also video from, looks like about 40 feet away at the same Bernie Sanders location. We are also keeping an eye on the vote totals, as we are now approaching 75% reporting, with a 1.98% gap between Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. Very, very close, but the margin in terms of raw votes remains at about 4,200. Welcome if you're joining me on Twitch. We do have a solid audience of nearly 1,000 on Twitch, and I want to say hi and welcome to everybody there. We recently heard from Wax Matches, who grabbed the Twitch Prime subscription. Gamer Legend and Odd Shaman sent some bits, which are very much appreciated. And yeah, we got a big boost on Twitch over the weekend when I appeared on the Raj Royale and took it down. I took down a victory there by, quite frankly, in the last voting round, I believe it was 55 to 45. I defeated the last contender, and a lot of action happening on Twitch. And of course, if you are watching on Twitch, I invite you to grab a Twitch subscription, Twitch Prime, regular Twitch, whatever pleases you. We are awaiting now on the next update. We will probably get to 75% reporting. And I believe that soon we are going to be able to make a projection, although networks may continue to wait. If we get another 5 percentage points of the vote, and the lead remains somewhere between 4,000 and 4,300, 4,500, it's going to become really difficult for Pete Buttigieg to make it up. And we should know that, I would think, in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Let's see. These, for people wondering, these are the results on Vox. These are the results from Vox. Some people concerned that there are more results elsewhere. These are the results we have, my friends. So we're going with it. Let me say thank you to William Navedo Cepeda, who is new member number 49. Let's do something. New member number 50, I'll send you a free item from the David Pakman Show online store at davidpakman.com/gear. Anything you want, t-shirt, the black coffee mug, which is the most popular item. We're just one member away from 50. We filled the bar all the way up. Joinpakman.com is the place to sign up. Number 50, I'll get you an item on me. And it will be, you will love it. You will absolutely love it. Okay, with the next update, the lead for Bernie has extended a little bit more. Percentage-wise, we're at 1.97, but in terms of the raw vote totals, again, it's up to just a hair over 4,200, and we are very close to 75% of the vote being counted. Let me say thanks to Sandboxer for subscribing with Twitch Prime, who says, phone calls will help with Twitch in general. Spub, subscribed to Twitch Prime, says, David, please include the percentage reporting on our screen. Thanks, babe. Let me see if I can get it on screen without losing anything. I might have to zoom out is the only issue. That's my concern. Let's see if I do one zoom out. There we go. And then if I go down, there we go. All right. Percentage reporting now at the bottom of the screen. I hope that that is better. 74.41% reporting. You can see it down here. Still waiting on 76 different precincts to report. Are we good? I think we're good. It looks like maybe Bernie Sanders is expected to speak soon. Does anybody know? It looks like there's a lot of action.
Which could be a lucky break for Mike Bloomberg, who's waiting in the wings, but also Bernie Sanders, who...
No, okay. Nothing yet. So we'll keep an eye on these vote totals as they continue to come in. 221 precincts reporting as of right now. Let me say thanks to Amber Rose for the YouTube subscription. Thanks, Amber. Very much appreciate that. We don't know. So remember, back in 2016, the New Hampshire Democratic primary was called at 8 p.m. Eastern. It was immediately called when all the polls closed. Bernie Sanders winning 60-38 over Hillary Clinton. Much tighter this year because we have multiple candidates. There are 3 candidates over 10%. There are another 2 right around 10%, and thus a significantly tighter race. And the results do now seem to be slowing down. Deval Patrick is the former Massachusetts governor, 858 votes. Michael Bennet and Andrew Yang have both dropped out tonight. So basically, if you look from here down, 2 of those 3 people have dropped out. If you look from here down, including Tulsi, all of these people should drop out. The only reason I say Tom Steyer can justify staying in is that he's been pouring money into South Carolina, and he's actually in second place there based on a poll from a week ago. He may actually end up getting delegates in South Carolina, and thus I think it's reasonable for him to stay in at this point in time. Although, you know, how much beyond that Super Tuesday, I don't know. I do expect, oh, by the way, Michael Bloomberg not here because Michael Bloomberg just skipped Iowa and New Hampshire. Michael Bloomberg going essentially right to Super Tuesday. If you're watching on Twitch, we have a hype train opportunity. We failed hugely with the last hype train. It was embarrassing. I almost had to cancel everything. I almost had to cancel myself because it went so poorly. But we do have a hype train opportunity over on Twitch. And I say thank you to iPrometheus for subscribing with Prime. And we do have a scam train, as many people like to refer to it. 2 more precincts have just reported We are now up to 223 precincts. The lead has shrunk again to 1.95 on a percentage basis, but it stays about 4,200 votes, still about 4,200 votes separating Bernie and Pete Buttigieg. Okay, let's do the free item from the David Pakman Show store. New member number 50 of this evening is Chuck Cole. Chuck Cole is new member number 50. I also want to say thank you to Juan Carlos Ordóñez, who is new member number 51 of the evening. I also want to say thanks to Tim Eng Hung, who is new member number 52 of the evening. Denver Minnick is new member number 53. Trudy Willoughby is new member number 54. And Martin Campbell is new member number 55. Thank you so much to everybody who has signed up. Very, very much appreciate it. We are now with 225 precincts reporting. We are continuing to see Bernie's lead is 4,200, almost on the dot, 4,202 right now. That percentage lead keeps shrinking. Now it's 1.9, but no, staying at 1.93. And if Pete Buttigieg cannot make up vote totals, remember, he can keep closing in terms of percentage. Pete's got to make up votes if he wants a shot at this thing. Amy is essentially out. She's almost 9,000 votes behind Pete. I do want to say, I mean, it's interesting whether Bernie or Pete win, but to be very clear, they're going to end up with basically the same number of delegates at this point. It may vary by one. I can't think of the last time a nomination depended on one delegate. So this is not going to significantly move the needle in terms of who we ultimately expect to win. If you're joining us on YouTube and you have any questions, comments, I would love to hear via Super Chat. Super Chats pop up on the screen on the right. Who do you think will drop out and when? Okay, so structure your messages in this way. I believe, for example, Biden will drop out after South Carolina, or I believe Tulsi will drop out after Nevada, or whatever. I do want to hear from folks. If you are considering sending a super chat, of course, any question is welcome and I will answer all questions. But that is something I would be interested in hearing from folks about. Meanwhile, over on Twitch, we are now, with 4 minutes to go, trying to compete a level 3 hype train, which would be huge. I don't think we've gotten past level 2 in a while over on Twitch. We have a 225th precinct reporting, and Bernie's lead has actually grown. It is now just a hair under 4,300 votes, and the percentage difference is 1.96. Bernie Sanders, again, just creeping up the vote lead with a number of the recent precincts. And I see someone in the chat saying Bernie had 152,000 votes in 2016. We can actually check that very quickly. Indeed, Bernie had 152 in 2016. Now, what is interesting about these results, and I don't want to say that this is good or bad for the progressive movement, the progressive vote totals right now are 77,000, meaning if you add Bernie's 56.4 and Warren's 25, that is almost on the dot, 77,000 votes total. That is about half of what Bernie got. And so, you know, of course, this is a very different race, many more candidates. That is just one sort of analysis that we can look at. You could argue, I see people in the chat saying Steyer is also a progressive. You could add his votes. That would get us to about 85,000. So these are the types of analyses that we'll be able to do tomorrow, more than likely. Okay, over via Super Chat. Matt Chavez says if Bernie adopted universal basic income, he would be the 46th tonight. Okay. Keshav Jagannath says, does Pete and Klobuchar's performance tonight help Sanders in the long run? Their momentum could eat Bloomberg's support on Super Tuesday, in my opinion. I really don't know yet. I'm going to have to think about that. I guess I don't know that I agree with that analysis, but I'll talk about that a little bit tomorrow. With a 226th precinct reporting, the lead for Bernie Sanders stays about 4,300 votes. We are really getting down to the wire in Pete being able to even conceivably make up that vote difference. Rock Lee says if you click on the Vox map, it shows Pete's strongest county is 100% counted. Bernie will rise and finish around 29%. Pete still has no path to the nomination. Let's take a look at that. We do have some of those numbers, I believe, here. Let's take a look. So when we look at Pete Buttigieg, let's see, 72%, 26.8 for Pete, 27, 31, 25, 25, 25. So this is Pete's strongest down here, and it says 70% reporting. Yeah, I just don't know that I see the numbers exactly the way you're pointing it out, although maybe I'm misunderstanding. To me, it looks like Pete's strongest county, Cheshire County, by percentage. Oh, what am I talking about? That's Bernie Sanders. I'm an idiot. What on earth am I talking about? So Pete 26.8, Pete 24.8, Pete 25.9, Pete 24. Right. So Pete's strongest is Rockingham, and this says it's only 66% counted. So in any case, we'll continue to watch it and we will see. We are standing by now at the Pete Buttigieg headquarters, potentially for some kind of a speech from Mayor Pete, and waiting with 226 precincts reporting right now. Okay, so we are caught up over there. Let me say thank you to Alina Aniet. Alina Aniet is new member number 56 of the evening, and Steve Garay is new member number 57 of the evening. Kabuki Bufan 1 and 18 says, or no, sorry, Brody Andrew Mulligan says, top 3 policies to combat voter suppression. Nonpartisan redistricting, same-day voter registration, and voter purges are illegal. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. There's actually probably more than 3 that you need. Kabuki Fan 1 and 18 says, check the chart below the map. Sort by county. Okay, chart below the map. Sort by county. Sort by county. Okay. Okay. Pete Buttigieg. 100% reporting. I see. So the place that's 100% reporting is a strong Buttigieg. Okay, I see what you're saying. Very, very interesting. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. Remember that the counties are also different sizes, and that is also a factor. We just got a couple more precincts. Bernie's lead still 4,200. That lead is staying. It is not changing. Bernie with a solid 4,200 vote lead. Sam Dean says, good day. Which candidate do you think could communicate with foreign countries to help reestablish a sense of trust in America and repair trade arguments? Almost any of them is going to be able to repair some of the damage done by Donald Trump. Rock Lee says, I was using the map below the chart you're using now. Right. We figured that out. Lock Metal says, Bloomberg, more like Doomberg. Am I right? LOL. Very clever. Very, very clever. I like what you did there. We are actually past 75% reporting at this point, and we are now heading to 80%, expecting possibly Pete Buttigieg to speak soon, maybe Bernie Sanders. I think that at this point, we know how these results are ultimately going to go. Bernie and Pete are going to end up with almost certainly the same number of delegates tonight. They are neck and neck in terms of the percentage. Bernie ahead by about 4250 right now, 4280. And almost certainly they will end up with the same number of delegates out of New Hampshire, which will keep them roughly tied getting into Nevada. That's it's very hard to imagine it changing drastically at this point in time. And if anybody disagrees with me, I would love to hear from you. Thanks for all the different bits over on Twitch. Medechi and Veggie Boy and JH8CS, Anonymous Cheerer, Pia Palm, and a whole bunch of other different people. Very much appreciate that. The Pete crowd is starting to get fired up. I wonder if they are expecting Pete Buttigieg to come out sometime soon. If you have any questions or comments as we are continuing to track results, 2 ways to do it. If you're watching on YouTube, send a super chat. They'll pop up on the lower left of the screen, as you can see. If you are on Twitch, you can send a message with a Twitch Prime or regular Twitch subscription, and the message will pop up with your subscription in the blue rectangle in the upper right. Gregory Shavers Jr. says, how about those phone lines, David? Ring, ring. Rock Lee says, Warren will drop after South Carolina or Super Tuesday at best. Pete will outlast her with money propping him up, but will endure several losses in March through May. All right, very specific prediction. Okay, let's do a little bit of phone lines. If people want to call in, I will take some calls now because later we are going to be in the thick of the results. So let's get set up. You can call in at 617-830-4750. I'll take a few calls now. I will keep going to super chats and Twitch messages and all of that stuff. Tommy Adams says, have you seen the Airsoft Fatty YouTube documentary? I have not seen that, but it sounds very interesting. Let's get connected.
Thank you for calling into the David Pakman Show. Please do not use speakerphone. Have your question ready and listen for David to call out your area code.
Right. 617-830-4750 is the number. Let me get myself all connected first. As you can see, Bernie Sanders' lead actually growing now to almost 5,000 votes. Bernie growing. Let's, just to do it because we haven't heard from him for a while, let's go right to Jimmy from Philly. Jimmy from Philly, regular LSD user, no longer drinking. Jimmy, what's new with you? Jimmy, you're on. I can hear you breathing. Jimmy from Philly, you are on. Jimmy, I hear you breathing. I don't know what you're doing. Almost sounded like maybe Jimmy from Philly lost his voice or something like that. That's very interesting. I don't know what's going on there. Okay. Oh, weird. I got disconnected now from my own phone system. That's weird. Let me call back in. That's strange. Jimmy from Philly's still on. Let's see. Somehow I'm not. Jimmy from Philly has taken over the phone system. He's on and I'm not.
Thank you for calling into the David Pakman Show. Please do not use speakerphone. Have your question ready and listen for David to call out your area code.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Okay, Jimmy from Philly, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, David?
Hey, what's going on, Jimmy?
All right, now here's my question, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 2016, basically Bernie was cheated by a chick, Hillary Clinton.
Is her gender
then he
relevant?
turns around and supports the chick that cheated him, right?
Yeah.
Now he's neck and neck with a homosexual. What makes you think he can stand up to Donald Trump if he couldn't beat a woman and he's neck and neck with a homosexual that has no name before any of this? I didn't know who Pete Buttigieg was. What makes any of you think that Bernie could stand up to Trump? I just don't understand.
How is Pete's sexual orientation relevant?
What do you mean, how is it relevant? It's as relevant as anything.
How?
Are you kidding me?
No.
What do you mean, how?
Yes.
If he was a transsexual, you would say the same thing, David. That's crazy.
That's right. I would say,
Well,
I mean, with a
let
transgender
me
person, I would
ask
say,
you
how is that
something.
relevant to the
If
issue?
it wasn't for his homosexuality, he wouldn't be getting the numbers he got right now.
Oh, you think
Are
that
you
being
kidding
gay
me?
is helping Pete?
Absolutely.
How?
I think Bernie being a socialist is helping them.
Bernie's not a socialist. In Iowa, Pete's being helped by being gay?
I think so.
Did you see that a voter, once she found
I
out
think
Pete
so.
was gay, retracted her
It's a
vote?
Democratic Party. It's a Democratic Party. It's your way. I mean, next time it'll be a tranny for president. You'll run.
We don't. That's a
I mean,
very
yeah.
insensitive term, Jimmy. We don't use that term. That's a
No,
horrible word.
it isn't. What, transsexual is better?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, well, what should I say? One of the 58 Facebook genders? I mean,
Jimmy, I don't know.
I don't get it. I
Jimmy,
don't have to be sensitive to these people, David.
Jimmy, you called in once.
I don't have to be sensitive.
Hold on a second, Jimmy. Jimmy, you're shot out of a cannon tonight. Can I get a word in here?
Go ahead.
Okay. You once called in and you talked about how it was a tragic story, but you were separated from a family member that's important to you because of alleged violence that you committed. Now, wouldn't it be insensitive if someone called in and started calling you an abuser and using even uglier language? Wouldn't that be sort of insensitive?
David, that would be a false accusation. That wouldn't be insensitive.
The police certainly didn't think so.
Buttigieg is a homosexual. I am making a clear statement about his own admitted sexuality.
But there's
I am
nothing
not
wrong
making
with
a
being
false
gay.
claim.
There's nothing wrong with being gay.
But I didn't say that there was.
So then what are we even talking about?
But Bernie can't beat a woman. He's neck and neck with a homo. What makes you think he could stand up to Donald Trump?
But
it ain't
Jimmy,
going to happen. I'm telling you right now.
The way
Trump
you're
will blow him out of the water.
The way you're talking about Pete's sexual orientation, it sounds like you do think there's something wrong with it, where you think it is less than something else.
Yes. He's less than a man.
So what gender
He absolutely is.
What gender is Pete?
He's riding a blony pony. Are you kidding
All right,
me?
Jimmy. Jimmy, we're done. All right, very good. Jimmy's out. Let's go next to our caller from the 313 area code. It just, we tolerate it for a little while, but when you're just being disrespectful, there's no place for that here. Okay, 313, you're on. I apologize that you had to sit through that, 313.
Is this me?
Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah. No, it's all good. I've heard Jimmy from Philly. He was on a roll tonight.
Yeah.
But with that being said, with all the Caucasian states,
Sorry, did you say Caucasian states?
Yeah, basically the white states.
Okay, all right.
And that with the actual states that has African American voters, Latino voters, this the demographic that actually is representing the Democratic Party.
Right.
I'm just curious on how the delegation maps is going to be when it comes to Nevada, South Carolina, and then up to Super Tuesday. Because I'm really curious on how the ordering is going to be because more than likely Bernie's probably not going to win Nevada. He's probably not going to win South Carolina.
Correct.
But I'm curious on the delegation on when he gets to Super Tuesday and with the other candidates.
This is why I don't believe we are really going to know anything about who is in this for the long haul until after Super Tuesday, because between now and March 3rd, you're going to have a bunch of different candidates pick up a few delegates in what are small states. Only at Super Tuesday are we actually going to get a sense. So I just don't know the answer yet, but certainly Iowa and New Hampshire are not demographically representative of the rest of the country.
Yeah. I mean that Caucasian thing was just a joke. That was
it's very, very relevant.
But but one quick question, because I know you have a lot of callers. I'm thinking that what will probably happen is if Biden wins South Carolina and maybe Tom, I forgot what Tom, whatever Tom's last name is, wins Nevada.
Yes.
Do you think there could be a scenario where Bernie will only need to win 30% of the votes of each state just to get the necessarily delegate to take the lead?
I haven't run the numbers on that exact scenario. I'd have to run the numbers to see if that's realistic or possible. And by the way, Steyer has a shot at at winning South Carolina, but not Nevada. I don't know if you misspoke there.
No, well, I still think Biden's going to win. I mean, it's just I got my girlfriend's people live in South Carolina, and I just don't understand. But they support Biden. Hell, I was in Detroit, and then my people were talking about this Biden, and like the younger generation was talking about Bernie. It really was like a true generational divide between like just the older voters said, "Why is Bernie yelling at me?" And then the younger voters were like, "Well, why are you not supporting policy?" I mean, it's just very weird. It's a very, very weird dynamic that's going on right now.
It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on. Listen, thank you for the call. I am going to move on. We will keep in touch and see if that scenario plays out. Let me say thank you to Sunny1984 for the Twitch Prime subscription. Let me say thanks to Ani Online 1 for the Twitch Prime subscription. Very much appreciate that. I also want to thank a couple of new members, at least one. David and Ben Salkin are new member, I guess, number 58. And Steve Garay is new member number 59. Thanks to both of you. Very much appreciate that. The new goal, 100 members. We are now with 236 precincts reporting, seeing a 4,800 vote lead for Bernie Sanders. Bernie has expanded his lead, and I believe soon Bernie's lead will be insurmountable. We will see if I am correct. Lock Metal says the Overton window is a hell of a drug. And Ali Reza Mirgasemi says, hi, David, if Sanders becomes president, how likely do you think Tulsi becomes Secretary of State since she's mostly into foreign policy? Do you think she is a fit for the position or not? No, I hope that that does not happen. Let's hope that that does not happen. I would not like to see that. Let's go next to our caller from the 315 area code. Who's calling from 315 today?
Hello, is that me, Jim?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey, this is Jim, and I'm not a homophobe.
Okay, good. Good start.
I was actually just curious on what you think about Bloomberg's chances right now. It looks like he's doing exceptionally well in Texas and Florida.
Yes, Texas and Florida. I tweeted about that today. Here's the thing.
Yeah. I was just seeing if you thought there was a clear path to victory there.
I don't see a path to...
Both of my parents...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Both of my parents are staunch Bloomberg supporters. And I showed them that clip this morning of him talking about, I'm sure you saw that clip of him this morning.
Of course, our friend Ben Dixon found that and subtitled it and put it out,
Yeah. Well, they just blinked at it and didn't even care because they think that his climate proposal, what he's done for the climate is so good and he's a businessman. And they just sit down and watch MSNBC all day.
Right. So here's the deal with Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Here's the deal with Bloomberg. Let me, I'll give you my sense of it. I believe Bloomberg may end up third or fourth in delegates by the time it's all said and done. By the way, when you say Bloomberg's climate thing, I don't know of a thing Bloomberg's done for the climate. I'm interested in hearing more about that. I don't know if they're confused with somebody else, but
I guess what they say
let's continue with the political analysis.
We'll have coal plants in the country.
Oh boy. I got you. Listen, I'm going to answer the rest of the question offline. I do appreciate the call. Bloomberg is pouring money into Super Tuesday states. I believe Bloomberg is going to pull delegates out of Super Tuesday. I believe Bloomberg may have a big role to play in denying Bernie the nomination on the first ballot at the convention. I've said it before. This is not an endorsement of Bloomberg. I'm not voting for Bloomberg or anything like that. Thank you very, very much. Let me say thank you to Baron Steuben, who says via Super Chat, feel the burn. I also want to say thanks to Old Ben for subscribing with Twitch Prime. We are still at 236 precincts reporting. The reports are slowing down. I don't know if you fine folks have noticed, but the precinct reports have been slowing down more and more and more. Let me say thank you to a really terrific person, Paul Clemente. Paul Clemente is new member number 60. Boom, 60 of the evening at joinpacman.com. I invite you to use the coupon code 2020NOW at joinpacman.com. Grab a 2/3 discount with the coupon code 2020NOW. Very, very exciting number happening there. Let's go next. We are taking calls at 617-830-4750. People wondering There are 27 people holding, just to give you a sense of the phone lines. Let's go to, I don't fully understand this. It's been almost a year since we heard from them. Amber and her boyfriend at 828. Amber and her boyfriend. What's going on?
Hey, it's just her boyfriend today.
All
I'm
right,
actually
okay.
her husband now.
Oh, wow, her husband now. And a lot has happened in the last 10 months.
Oh, yeah. I just want to say this is my first time calling. I'm a big fan. I listen to the show every day. I've been a member for over 2 years.
Thank you.
And I'll keep up the great work. My question is, with Pete Buttigieg doing so well compared to Joe Biden,
right?
If Pete Buttigieg was the eventual nominee, would that be better for us than if it was Joe Biden? Or in your opinion?
I actually would have to think about that because I recently was asked, would I vote for Steyer, Biden, or Buttigieg? And I said I would definitely vote for Steyer. I don't care about Steyer being a billionaire. Steyer is better on climate. Steyer is, I believe, more progressive. Okay. Between Buttigieg and Biden, Buttigieg is better on some policies, but the one thing about Biden is he is a diplomat. And I know a lot of people say he's older and slowing down and all this different stuff. Pete has no experience, and I know some people don't care about experience. Biden actually has important relationships with world leaders. If you put a gun to my head and say, do you vote Buttigieg or Biden, I would have to think about it, actually.
Oh, okay. I understand.
I'm not thrilled. I'm not supporting either, to be clear.
Yes,
yeah.
I understand.
Good.
Bernie all the way. Bernie 2020. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Amber's now husband. I appreciate the phone call. Cezi Canales. Oh, wait, no, sorry. I skipped Shannon. Shannon Bennis says, will Sanders pick up the majority of Yang's love? I don't know that. We will wait and see. Cezi Canales. Been a while since I've heard from you, Ceci. Ceci says, hey, David, you're still great. I may not agree with you 100% of the time, but I thank you for all you do with peace and love. Thank you. Rich Chase says, do you think that due to the Iowa fiasco, the Democratic Party is making sure to be way above board about the result in New Hampshire? I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not sure about that. Elizabeth Smith, no foul play so far that I'm aware of. Let me put it that way. Although we are all of a sudden stuck at 236 precincts and we don't know why. Maybe I'll just do a hard refresh just to see if that's still what's going on. Yeah. It is interesting. Still at 236. Elizabeth Smith says, David, I'll buy a DP gift for number 65. Oh, okay. We have an offer from Elizabeth Smith. Elizabeth Smith says that for new member number 65 at joinpacman.com, she will buy you a gift from the David Pakman Show online store at joinpacman.com. I like that. I think that that's a great idea. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. We will coordinate if and when we get to new member number 65. Let's go next to our caller from the 207 area code. 207, is that Maine, if I recall correctly?
That is correct.
Who's this?
This is Jake.
Hey, Jake, what's up?
Hey, David, I just had a quick question about, been seeing a lot of the pundits from the mainstream media, like all the places, talking about how Bernie really has to bring out the young vote because he has no chance with the rest of the, people. So, and they're saying that he's not doing that, and because of that, they think he can't win. I just want to know what your thoughts on that is.
I completely reject that on principle.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. They're really pushing that narrative real hard.
Don't let them. I mean, just, vote for the person who you agree with on policy. Ignore all that other stuff. It's just noise right now.
Yeah, that's, Bernie's my go-to guy so far, but I mean, I believe in his policies more than anyone else, for sure.
Then you know who you're voting for.
All right. Thank you, David. That's all.
All right, Jake, great to hear from you. Folks, we do have news, and it is actually pretty stunning news. With the latest update out of New Hampshire, Bernie Sanders' lead has dropped below 1% in New Hampshire. It is now at 0.96%. And it is actually, now it is back up. Now it is back up to 1.6%. For a moment there, the lead dropped to only 2,000 votes. The lead is now back up to the same 4,200 votes. So for a moment there, Bernie's lead got down to only 2,000 votes, but it is indeed back up. Let's go to our caller from the 617 area code, maybe a local caller here in the Boston area. 617, are you there? 617 going twice. 617, you're on. If you have us muted, please unmute because you are on live and this is the last opportunity. All right, 617 is gone. Let's go next to our caller from the 843 area code. Who's calling today from 843?
Hey, what's up, David? It's
Hey.
T. Hayes. I'm one of your mods in the YouTube chat.
Your
Anyways, so I
connection is
was going over
atrocious
the
and I was
numbers.
not able to hear who this is. You said something about the YouTube chat.
I said this is T. Hayes. I'm one of the mods in the YouTube chat.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate your service.
Yeah, but anyways, so I've been going over the numbers and the outstanding votes, and
Yes.
I think it's a pretty safe bet to say that Bernie will probably win. Pete just doesn't have the outstanding votes in the areas he needs to, from what I see.
Yeah, we're over 80% now, and the lead is still, now it's 3,800 votes. So unless it shrinks to, I think that Pete needs to get, tell me if you agree, if Pete doesn't get to within 2,000 votes by the time they're at 85%, I think it's probably done.
I agree with you. I already think it's safe to call it, but your situation, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that Buttigieg, did as well as he did, but I mean, with the media letting him declare victory for a week
Right.
and he was on TV for a week declaring victory. So I mean, they kind of propped him up, and it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, no doubt. But it looks like, and here's the thing. It almost doesn't matter in a sense. It'll matter for headlines, but Pete and Bernie tonight are ending up with the same number of delegates in all likelihood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I do want to say is you can take this to the bank. I think that Pete, when it gets to Nevada and South Carolina, Pete's going to just fall off.
That may happen.
And Michael Bloomberg will end up being propped up by his money and the media. And in about, I'd say 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, Michael Bloomberg is going to take over. And I think it's going to be Bernie and Michael Bloomberg if I had to put money on it.
That is what a lot of
according to
people
the
are putting
betting
money on. If you look at the betting markets, that is actually what a lot of people are saying. Bernie's the most likely, followed by Bloomberg, to be the nominees. It's interesting that you believe the same.
Yeah, that's what I was basing off of, predicted and basing off of the polls and stuff. I definitely think that's the most likely scenario.
Yep. Well, we will see. We will soon know.
But anyways,
I think Bloomberg's going to do better than a lot of people think, for sure.
I definitely agree, especially with the media and just, it's crazy that a billionaire can literally, buy his way into the election.
Yes.
It's just ridiculous.
No doubt. Appreciate
But anyways,
the
I
call.
know you have a lot of people on hold. Yep, appreciate it, man.
All right, take care. Let me say thanks to a couple of other new members. I want to say thank you to Michael Havel, who is new member number 61. I also want to say thanks to Dominique Thornton, who is new member number 62. Thank you so much. Remember, there is still an offer for a free item from the David Pakman Show store. For new member number 65, Elizabeth Smith has very kindly offered to get whoever is new member number 65 at joinpakman.com a free item from davidpakman.com/gear. It looks like they are warming up the audience for Pete Buttigieg, so we will go to that at some point relatively soon. Looking at the vote totals, we see that it is 3,800 votes currently separating Bernard Sanders from Peter Buttigieg. Brian Lane asks, how much will a Warren dropout help Bernie? It'll help him, but remember, only 35%, I believe, of her support would go to Bernie. The other 65% would go to other candidates. So it may not help as much as some people think. Let's go next to our caller from the 732 area code. Who's calling today from 732?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up?
It's Philip Anthrosis, Sabotagio. I just had a couple questions. What does Bernie have to do in Nevada to end the fear of a contested convention?
What has to happen in Nevada?
Yeah.
There's nothing that could happen in Nevada that would drastically alter the possibility of a contested convention. It's too few delegates to make a real difference.
Okay.
Yeah.
And my other question was, what do you think about Stobie Face and this poison that he's feeding me?
Sorry, who?
Stobie Face, he's everywhere on the news these days.
Stobie Face. You're gonna have to enlighten me. Who's that?
He's just everywhere. I'm just trying to do things that would make me smile of you.
This is an adult or a child you're referring to?
Stobie, he's a child.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't want to talk about kids on the stream, so we're gonna move on.
Oh, he's leading.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. You're off. Let's see. Mr. Daughtry says, I signed up for ACA and unenrolled when I got employer insurance. The federal government did not register my disenrollment and charge fees for 2 years of ACA at tax time. Why will Medicare for All function better? I don't know the specifics of that situation, but with Medicare for All, there's none of that stuff. There's no this type of insurance versus that type of insurance. Do you get it through work or not? There's no more employer-based insurance, and it's a completely different system. We have a couple more precincts reporting, and we now have a lead of 4-3-4-8 for Bernie Sanders. All but completely insurmountable lead at this point in time. I am almost ready, and I'm just eyeballing this thing, folks. I am almost ready to call it for Bernard Sanders over Peter Buttigieg. We may see Buttigieg soon. It looks like somebody was warming up the crowd for him at his event there. I want to say a couple of other thank yous, including a really important one to Michael Kretschmer. Michael Kretschmer is the latest member as Pete Buttigieg is coming out to speak. Let's take a listen to former Mayor Pete, who will no doubt in a defiant and principled way claim victory despite the fact that he has lost.
Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you so much. One more time for our phenomenal New Hampshire state co-chairs. Thank you for your leadership and thank you for your commitment.
And we're going to stick with this, so I'm going to drop the phone lines for now, just for people holding.
Annie Custer, who knows how to raise the roof and how to get out the vote. And thank you to Chasten, the love of my life.
Oh, I thought it was Chasten.
And makes me whole. I want to congratulate my competitors and their supporters on their campaigns here in New Hampshire.
You don't need to clap for that.
I admired Senator Sanders when I was a high school student. I respect him greatly to this day, and I congratulate him on his strong showing tonight.
Is that a dig at Bernie's age?
And I want to congratulate Senator Klobuchar, Senator Warren, Vice President Biden, and all of our Democratic candidates and supporters.
Right.
And I know that we all share the spirit that we heard from some of our volunteers at a poll site earlier today who welcomed a competing candidate with chants of vote blue no matter who. We are on the same team.
Unity, the theme tonight.
Now, over the past year, some 24 campaigns have crisscrossed this state, each laying claim to the ability to bring people together, turn out the vote, and move Americans toward a brighter future. That too. And here in a state that goes by the motto, live free or die, you made up your own minds. You asserted that famous independent streak. And thanks to you, a campaign that some said shouldn't be here at all has shown that we are here to stay.
Were they chanting President Pete?
So many of you turned out. Die-hard Democrats, independents unwilling to stay on the sidelines, and even some newly former Republicans ready to vote for something new. Ready to vote for a politics defined by how many we call in instead of by who we push out. So many of you chose to meet a new era of challenge with a new generation of leadership. So many of you decided.
Hey guys, is it possible Trump's watching my stream? He tweeted exactly what I said about Warren's speech, and now he tweeted Pete Buttigieg, actually spelling it out Buttigieg the way I've been saying it. Is it possible? Possible?
Now our campaign moves on to Nevada, to South Carolina, to communities across our country. And we will welcome new allies to our movement at every step. We'll go forward thanks to the work of our extraordinary team of staff and organizers and volunteers. I may be biased on this, but I'm also right. We have the finest team in politics today.
Hey guys, what the hell just happened to the results? All of a sudden, Pete Buttigieg, what the heck? Bernie's name is just gone. Anybody else seeing this? Bernie's name just disappeared from this thing. What is going on here? Let me refresh. Oh, and they have called it for Bernie Sanders. That is what is going on. The race has been called. Bernie Sanders is the winner today, calling it right about when I would have, right at the 83% mark with a 4,400 vote lead. Bernie Sanders winning. There it is.
Thank you. And we know that team stretches across the country. We go forward fueled by hundreds of thousands of grassroots supporters, from the woman in Minnesota who donated in honor of the wife she lost to lung cancer, to the veteran from Connecticut who sent $19.68 in honor of the year that he served in Vietnam. This campaign belongs to them. And if our campaign moves you, I hope you'll go to PeteForAmerica.com and chip in whatever you can.
Right.
And we go forward knowing that this is our chance, our only chance. Not just to end the era of Donald Trump, but to launch the era that we know must come next. And the stakes could not be higher. We cannot afford to miss the mark or to miss this moment. We must get this right. With Americans living under an unaccountable president who will cut taxes for corporations and then cut Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security for the rest of us, we must get this right. When people of color fear for their own place in their own country, while infants are torn from their parents at the border, we must get this right.
If you're just joining us, Bernie won.
And when a commander-in-chief pardons war criminals and punishes war heroes while systematically demolishing the credibility of our country in the eyes of the world, we dare not risk 4 more years of this presidency. We must get this right. Now, we are clear-eyed about the challenge before us, and we must be equally clear about the choice at hand. My competitors and I share the same fundamental goals: bringing balance to our economy, guaranteeing health care to every American, combating a climate crisis and a rising tide of gun violence. But we do differ in what we believe it will take to make that happen. In this election season, we have been told by some that you must either be for revolution or you are for the status quo. But where does that leave the rest of us?
This line got him
Most
booed
Americans
over the
don't
weekend.
see where they fit in that polarized vision. And we can't defeat the most divisive president in modern American history by tearing down anybody who doesn't agree with us 100% of the time. Americans want the freedom to make choices for themselves on health care or on any other issue, not to have Washington decide for them. And a politics of my way or the highway is a road to re-electing Donald Trump. Vulnerable Americans do not have the luxury of pursuing ideological purity over an inclusive victory. We know this.
Crowd didn't realize they were supposed to clap there.
We also know better than to try to defeat such a disruptive president by relying on the same Washington framework and mindset. After all, if today's Washington were serving America well, a guy like Donald Trump would never have come within cheating distance of the Oval Office in the first place.
That's true.
So to win and to govern, we need to bring new voices to our capital. We need to get Washington starting to work more like our best-run cities and towns rather than the other way around. And I know that when you talk this way, you might get dismissed as a naive newcomer. But a fresh outlook is what makes new beginnings possible. It is how we build a new majority. And election after election has shown us that putting forward a new perspective is how Democrats win the White House, and we will win the White House.
Wow. If you are just joining us, this has been called for Bernie Sanders. Bernie's lead stretching to close to 5,000 votes, with 83% reporting. Based on what is still outstanding, there appears to be no mathematical real possibility for Pete Buttigieg to take over. We are hearing from Pete Buttigieg, of course, because this is proportional allocation of delegates. Both Bernie and Pete are ending up today with basically the same number of delegates.
Americans together, not only in the knowledge of what we must stand against, but in the confidence of knowing what we are for. This is the powerful majority we are gathering together, from Davenport to Dover, from Carson City to Columbia. It is a coalition of addition, not subtraction. It is a movement reaching into church basements and barbershops, into universities and union halls, carrying the same values with us everywhere we go. We saw that coalition awakening. We saw it tonight in cities and suburbs, from the seacoast to those industrial towns too often left behind. And together, we are building a future where there will be no such thing as an uninsured American or an unaffordable prescription.
At least some candidates will.
That's what we can deliver with a plan most Americans can get behind. Medicare for all who want it, ensuring care for every American, but trusting you to choose whether you want it and when you want it. Together, we will stop enabling corporate greed and start raising wages, empowering workers, and making good on the idea that one job ought to be enough.
What are we doing?
Together, we will stop sending our young people into the teeth of endless wars and start recruiting every American
We're going to go now
into fight
to Bernie
for
Sanders.
our
You can
climate
see
future.
he is getting ready to take, he's on the stage and getting ready to address supporters. So we'll move
All
from
right,
Pete
Bernie's
Buttigieg
victory
over to
speech
Bernie
now,
Sanders.
narrow victory, same number of delegates, but no doubt the popular vote win, much like he had in Iowa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Any second now, Tulsi's going to take over this entire thing. I know you guys know that.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was a joke, just to be clear, if there's new viewers here.
Thank you. Thank you, New Hampshire. Thank you, New Hampshire.
This is Bernie's son, right?
Let
He follows
me-
me on Twitter.
Let me take this opportunity to thank the people of New Hampshire for a great victory tonight. Let me thank the thousands of volunteers in New Hampshire. Thank you. Who knocked on doors in the rain and the snow and the cold. The reason that we won tonight in New Hampshire, we won last week in Iowa.
Popular vote, that's true.
It's because of the hard work of so many volunteers. And let me say tonight that this victory here is the beginning of the end for Donald Trump.
Right. Are they saying Bernie Trump? Bernie beats Trump?
With victories behind us, popular vote in Iowa and the victory here
Iowa.
tonight.
I love that.
We're going to Nevada. We're going to South Carolina. We're going to win those states as well.
I would prefer that he say Nevada and South Carolina.
Tonight,
I find it more endearing.
I want to
but-
take the opportunity to express my appreciation and respect for all of the Democratic candidates we ran against. Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren, Joe Biden.
Who else does he mention?
And what I can tell
Nobody.
you with absolute certainty, and I know I speak for every one of the Democratic candidates, is that no matter who wins, and we certainly hope it's going to be us, we are going to unite together. We are going to unite together and defeat the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. And the reason I believe we are going to win is that we have an unprecedented grassroots movement from coast to coast of millions of people. The reason that we are going to win is that we are putting together an unprecedented, multi-generational, multiracial political movement. And this is a movement from coast to coast, which is demanding that we finally have an economy and a government that works for all of us, not wealthy campaign contributors. And I want to thank all of those people who have worked and contributed to our campaign, but make the point that in this point in the campaign, we are taking on billionaires and we're taking on candidates funded by billionaires. But we are going to win because we have the agenda that speaks to the needs of working people throughout this country. Health care is a human right, not a privilege. The wealthy and powerful will start paying their fair share of taxes. We will make public colleges and universities tuition-free and cancel all student debt. Unlike Donald Trump, we know that climate change is very real and an existential crisis for our planet. We are prepared to tell the fossil fuel industry that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our planet. We are going to end a racist and broken criminal justice system.
Go on.
We are going to pass comprehensive immigration reform. Our gun safety policies will be determined by the American people, not the NRA. And under our administration, it will be women, not the government, who control their own lives. Now, our campaign is not just about beating Trump, it is about transforming this country. It is about having the courage to take on Wall Street, the insurance companies, the drug companies, the fossil fuel industry, the military-industrial complex. So tonight I want to thank the people of New Hampshire for this great victory, thank our volunteers, and urge all Americans to join our effort to transform this country at BernieSanders.com. So it's on to Nevada, it's on to South Carolina, it's on to win the Democratic nomination, and together, I have no doubt that we will defeat Donald Trump. Thank you all very much.
Bernie Sanders with a victory speech in New Hampshire. Bernie Sanders coming out ahead by several thousand votes, will likely come away with the same number of delegates as Pete Buttigieg. Consider that Bernie Sanders has won the popular vote now in 100% of this year's primaries. He won the popular vote in Iowa, as he says. He won in New Hampshire, but will come away with fewer delegates in the end, most likely, because he was one delegate shy in Iowa, and will end up with the exact same as Pete Buttigieg here in New Hampshire, despite the win that is right now about 44-97, something like that. Yeah, I believe that is right. So that is where we are today. Upcoming, we still have, let's see what PBS is doing. Not clear. Upcoming, we have, let me look at the calendar. I believe that we have next Saturday, February 22nd, are the Nevada caucuses, followed Saturday the 29th by the South Carolina primary. Is that right? Can anybody confirm that the last two before Super Tuesday are both Saturday primaries? If anybody can confirm that. 22nd is correct for sure, some people saying, and confirmed. South Carolina's on Tuesday, I thought. Let's confirm that. South Carolina 2020 primary is on the 29th, Saturday. So they are both indeed Saturday. An incredible day, a much smoother primary for sure than what we saw in Iowa last Monday. And we now go on to, I believe it is one more debate somewhere around I had that on my calendar as well. I want to make sure everybody has the dates. On Wednesday, we will have another debate, and then that's a week from tomorrow, and then Saturday, the 22nd, Nevada will vote. So quite an evening. That is going to conclude our coverage, and I look forward to seeing everybody back for our New Hampshire post-game analysis on tomorrow's broadcast show and the YouTube channel. Of course, thank you for joining.